What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, man? How's everybody doing? Oh man, you white people done did it, man. You white people out here doing too much, man. One murder is too much, man. One murder is too much from white people, man. One murder is too much, yo. We gotta stop crime, man. There's too much crime in this country, man. This is it, man. This is the final straw. This is the final straw, man. We got too much crime. I've had it up to here, man. This is the breaking point. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore, man. How much can a brother take? I can't take it anymore, man. Crime's out of control, man. We got to do something about this shit. If not now, then when, man? I'm calling out white America, man. Do us all a favor and stop killing each other. Do us all a favor and stop killing each other. Okay? Do us all a favor and stop killing each other. We need some. Salute to Louis Barrow, man. He say, "Why are sisters always the loudest ones cheering at graduations or events? Your sisters just politely clap. No, No, sisters can't, man. They be happy their kid graduated, man. They can't do nothing quietly, man. Unfortunately, sisters can't do nothing quietly. Nothing. Nothing. Sisters just make events and scenes. They fuck up the energy everywhere they at. They can't help it. They literally cannot help it, man. It's a bad time to be a medical insurance executive. Yeah, man. Brother can't just be a CEO in peace, man. Can a nigga just CEO in peace? I mean, damn. Can a glider just CEO in peace? Can a glider? Can a glider get his CEO on in peace? Can a glider? Where my gliders at? This story is crazy though, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. This some crazy shit. Yeah, man. This guy say he hate insurance companies. Damn, really? I don't know why you hate insurance companies. Insurance is insurance is an abstract concept, man. Insurance is an abstract concept, man. This one says they're fairly confident where he escaped to, man. They're fairly confident where he escaped to, man. Salute to Pamela Henderson, man. Pamela Henderson in the building. Shout out to you, Pamela Henderson. Oh shit. It's snowing where I'm at, man. It's snowing bad, man. So it's like connection might be acting up tonight, man. It's snowing. It snow in Pennsylvania. It just snows, man. Snow is like rain up here, man.
Okay, we're good now.
Low tech.
What just happened?
So there was unfortunately a very sad shooting in Manhattan where the United Healthcare CEO was shot. Seemed like he was targeted. Very, very terrible. But then I was watching the news this morning, and the police chief in the news conference said that the assailant fled on a city bike, on an e-bike. It's like crazy that a criminal would flee on a bike, like especially a city bike.
Okay, we're good now.
Low tech.
What just happened?
So there was unfortunately a very for the past few weeks.
This
is not it right here. This is it right here where I can see where every individual bike has been. So I can see, okay, like this, let's see. Like,
Yo, white kids, man. White people already snitching, man. White people already cooperating. That ain't got nothing to do with it, man. We different, man. We different, man. The white community is already cooperating, man, with the authorities, man. Shout out to the white community, man. Shout out to the white community, man. I don't know. Let's see, man.
Okay, we're good now.
Low tech.
What just happened?
So there was unfortunately a very sad shooting in Manhattan where the United Healthcare CEO was shot. Seemed like he was targeted. Very, very terrible. But then I was watching the news this morning, and the police chief in the news conference said that the assailant fled on a city bike, on an e-bike. It's like crazy that a criminal would flee on a bike, like especially a city bike. But I've been scraping city bike data for the past few weeks. This is not it right here. This is it right here where I can see where every individual bike has been. So I can see, okay, like this, let's see, like right here, bike number like 2164382 entered a dock at 2:03 p.m. and then it exited the dock. Someone else took the bike at 2:13 p.m. At station number 1058, which is Columbus Ave and West 59th Street.
Yeah.
So using all this data, I can see, I checked all the possible rides that the assailant could have fled on. And there were like only 8 rides within the time frame of the shooting. Only one of them was headed northbound through Central Park. So that was, which is what the police said that the guy went through. So I'm like really, really confident that this one ride was where the guy ended up. So he ended up on the Upper East Side. So yeah, I tweeted this. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and a bunch of people reached out, and like the tweets getting a lot of likes now.
Yeah, why the fuck do you have this data, Riley?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I like making kind of fun, weird websites that show data in an interesting way, and like I thought it'd be cool to make a site that shows like.
Yo, here's the thing though. This kid could get laid. He could get laid. If he was a brother, he wouldn't get a whiff of pussy. He wouldn't, if he was a brother, he couldn't, if he was a brother, he would be a bird virgin until he was 59 years old. But white boy, he can get some ass. This white boy can get some ass, man. Being a geek like this, man.
So he ended up on the Upper East Side. So yeah, I tweeted this. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and a bunch of people reached out, and like the tweets getting a lot of likes now.
Yeah, why the fuck do you have this data, Riley?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I like making kind of fun, weird websites that show data in an interesting way, and like I thought it'd be cool to make a site that shows like in real time like all the city bike rides in New York. Because like this isn't data that you can normally get. Like I had to reverse engineer the Lyft app to get this, so it's like data that you really can't get normally.
Wait, what did you do?
So like in the Lyft app, if I like want to go and get a bike, let's say I like click on this stock right here, I can see that, oh, like bike 437,034 is there and like 382,600 is there. This is not public data, but like Lyft does give it in the app. Like it's not easy to get from their like public data APIs, but you can see it in the app. So I reverse engineer this endpoint, and then I set up scripts to like go through and check every minute, every dock in New York. So I've just been sitting on the data. I haven't made the website yet, but I have the data at least. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all are different, man. Riley, man. Shout out to Riley, man. Riley out here fucking Riley is a valuable member of society, man. I take Riley's worth. How many sun turds is Riley worth, man? Guys, get in the comment section. Tell me how many sun turds is this kid right here, Riley, worth, man? How many? What's the exchange rate in Suns, man? What's the exchange rate in Sun teams, man? How many Sun teams is how many Sun teams is one Riley worth, man? His value to society, man. This kid might actually help crack this murder, man.
Okay, we're good now.
Low tech.
What just happened?
So there was unfortunately a very sad shooting in Manhattan where the United Healthcare CEO was shot. Seemed like he was targeted. Very, very terrible. But then I was watching the news this morning, and the police chief in the news conference said that the assailant fled on a city bike, on an e-bike. It's like crazy that a criminal would flee on a bike, like especially a city bike. But I've been scraping city bike data for the past few weeks. This is not it right here. This is it right here where, I can see where every individual bike has been. So I can see, okay, like this, let's see, like right here, bike number like 2164382 entered a dock at 2:03 p.m. and then it exited the dock. Someone else took the bike at 2:13 p.m. At station number 1058, which is Columbus Ave and West 59th Street.
Yeah.
So using all this data, I can see I checked all the possible rides that the assailant could have fled on, and there were like only 8 rides within the time frame of the shooting. Only one of them was headed northbound through Central Park, so that was which is the police that the guy went through. So I'm like really, really confident that this one ride was where the guy ended up. So he ended up on the Upper East Side. So yeah, I tweeted this. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and a bunch of people reached out, and like the tweets getting a lot of likes now.
Yeah, why the fuck do you have this data, Riley?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I like making kind of fun, weird websites that show data in an interesting way, and like I thought it'd be cool to make a site that shows like in real time like all the city bike rides in New York. Because like this isn't data that you can normally get. Like I had to reverse engineer the Lyft app to get this, so it's like data that you really can't get normally.
Wait, what did you do? So
like in the Lyft app, if I like want to go and get a bike, let's say I like click on this stock right here, I can see that, oh, like bike 437,034 is there and like 382,600 is there. This is not public data, but like Lyft does give it in the app. Like it's not easy to get from their like public data APIs, but you can see it in the app. So I reverse engineer this endpoint, and then I set up scripts to like go through and check every minute, every dock in New York. So I've just been sitting on the data. I haven't made the website yet, but I have the data at least. So yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. This one says, Riley, I'm fairly confident of where the United Healthcare assassin escaped to. He escaped on an electric city bike, according to police. I happen to continually see scraped city bike data every minute, so I can see where individual bikes go. The only northbound city bike to leave within 10 minutes of the shooting from any dock near the hotel went to Madison Ave and East 82nd Street. Bike 421-6511 left the dock at 54th Street and 6th Avenue at 6:44 a.m. and was docked at 6:52 a.m. at Madison and 82nd Street. This is the only city bike that left within 10 minutes of the shooting and headed northbound. Surveillance video shows the suspect in front of a Starbucks counter at 52nd, at 54th and 60 and 6th Avenue. Wow. So that is the that glider walked up and just smoked homie, man. That glider walked up and smoked homie with a suppressor on the gun. He had a suppressor on that joint, man. Everybody hit the like button, man. Shout out to Riley, man. Yeah, that was a professional hit. Cause like he ain't run up on him. Yeah, what now, nigga? Like, nah. He just got the job done. A professional hitman is just gets the job done, man. There's no emotion in it. Professional hitman just gets the job done. Somebody said subsonic rounds. I don't even want to play this shit. The way YouTube, everybody else get to play stuff like this. They'll probably like try to say that I'm showing violence or something. They'll let everybody else, they'll let every single other channel on YouTube play this shit. But me, they'll try to give me a strike for that shit. It said United Healthcare is number one in health insurance coverage denials, maintaining the 32% rejection rate. Perhaps the CEO assassin was part of the 32. No one knows what this is about. Twitter's cold, man. Twitter's cold. Twitter is cold. Twitter is cold, man. He went and got some coffee after this. That's crazy. Homie went and got him a chai latte, man, after working the dude in Manhattan. He worked the dude in Manhattan and said, let me stop for a chai latte, man. Oh, all right. Let's go to damn Riley. Riley a bad motherfucker though, man. Shout out to the Rilester, man. Rile, man. Shout out to Rile, man. Rilinator. The Rilinator.
We have some breaking news. CNN has obtained new surveillance video from the fatal shooting of the United Healthcare CEO. And we do want to warn you that the video is, of course, disturbing.
CNN Bryn Gingras joins us. Bryn, take us through this video.
Yeah, Phil and Brianna. So we are only showing a few seconds of this video that CNN obtained, obviously, because it is very alarming to watch. Essentially, what we see in that video is the CEO, United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, walking toward the hotel here behind me, and behind him comes the suspected gunman that police are still searching for. So you could see how he approaches Thompson from the back. Before then, where we freeze the video, he fires those shots at Thompson. What you do not see from these 5 seconds, and I can tell you, is that we also see someone sort of running the opposite direction. So that is something, of course, that police are going to be looking into in this video, breaking it down frame by frame by frame to kind of figure out who might have witnessed this. They, of course, are going to want to talk to anyone who might have witnessed this. Again, it happened at the really front step of this entrance of this hotel, so there's possible some security there as well. And then, of course, follow the path of that gunman. As we already have learned, he flees from the scene, going down a back alley behind a theater that's across the street from the hotel where we are, and then hops on a bike where they basically lose his trail in Central Park. So again, we know that police are offering a $10,000 reward for any information that's going to help find this suspected gunman, but that manhunt is underway after this brazen shooting in Midtown Manhattan, guys.
All right, Bryn, if you can stand by for us, I want to bring in CNN security correspondent Josh Campbell. Josh, what stands out to you in this video?
Well, all indications is this looks like a professional hit job. You look at all the characteristics that we've seen from essentially lying in wait for the CEO to walk by. We can see on that video that Bryn obtained there that he essentially is behind a Suburban, the shooter. And as the CEO walks past, you see him then step out. The gun comes up on target and he begins to fire. There is a level of sophistication that we can tell from the shooter from that video as well. And that is because as he's firing, we know that he used a suppressor on that gun. That's to muffle the sound. That is something that someone would use, obviously, if they don't want to draw attention to a particular shooting. And you see him, racking the slide of that gun, which typically happens on its own with a semiotic 9mm style gun. But when you have that suppressor there at the end, if you don't have perhaps the proper parts or it's not properly lubricated, that gun won't cycle. And so you see him essentially racking the slide for every round that he fires. And also at one point, and this is what police had indicated as well before we obtained this video that the gun had malfunctioned at one point, and you actually see him doing a clearing drill on that gun. And this is something that, those of us who worked in law enforcement practice on over and over, where you essentially have these so-called immediate action drills where they practice for a round not to fire. Either, it can get dislodged, there could be a double feed of ammunition, but in this case, the shooter quickly racks it, the slide gets it back up on target, continues to fire, and then finally he makes his way of escape. So he not only came there, obviously very stealthy, but he still has not been found. Reports are that he fled on a e-bicycle, which obviously within the city of New York, a place where you have tons of license plate readers that a vehicle could perhaps be picked up on. Instead, this person chose to use a bicycle, which is obviously provides a more agile means of escape there. And so again, a lot of characteristics here that show this is someone who clearly was operating with some level of sophistication. Of course, now the big question comes down to motivation. That's work that's going on behind the scenes right now as well by authorities.
Bryn, what we saw in that video has been described. To actually watch it is just absolutely chilling. When you talk to your sources within the NYPD law enforcement right now, what's their sense of things in terms of how the manhunt's playing out, what resources they're actually utilizing, when they may actually find the suspect?
Yeah, I mean, every resource is being utilized at this moment, Phil. Certainly, this has been, we're now about 7 hours into this investigation, and this is a major manhunt. And it does appear, of course, they came out right out of the gates saying we have a $10,000 reward, Crime Stoppers. Here are pictures of this suspect at the scene here and also on the bike. We need your help. So certainly, they are trying to get this wrapped up as soon as possible and find this suspect. But certainly, they point to the suspect, and they made it very clear in that news conference that we heard earlier today by the NYPD that this was a targeted attack. And everything I've heard from sources, and as Josh has sort of underscored, is that this person knew what they were doing. They seem to be sophisticated with the fact that they had that silencer. Some sources have told me they haven't seen a silencer on a handgun like that in forever, like calling it almost like a mob hit. So it's pretty startling to not only us as people who are, in just the normal people, but also to law enforcement, wondering who this person is with this level of sophistication.
Yeah, it was striking in the news conference how unequivocal they were that this was planned. Now you see why. Bryn Gingras, Josh Campbell, thanks so much.
The manhunt continues in New York City, in the Big Apple, for the suspect that shot United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson early this morning, just at 6:46 a.m. They're asking for the public's help, and we are wanting to put up just this post from the New York Police Department talking about new images coming in of the suspect as he fled the scene. You can see this. You can see somewhat of his face covered with a black mask, but also the black hoodie and the distinctive gray backpack. And we're also getting right now the New York Post obtaining security video of this incident, of this shooting. And I want to warn you, viewer discretion is advised when watching this. But I do want to take you out to what we saw from earlier this morning as the CEO of United Healthcare was walking into an annual investors meeting when a targeted attack took place. He was shot in the chest, or in the back, and also the right calf before fleeing the scene on an e-bike, a city bike, an electric bike. He was last seen in Central Park near Center Avenue. And this is obviously graphic image of the moments there. He was transported to Mount Sinai West Hospital, but ultimately pronounced dead. I do want to bring in to the conversation right now to learn more about this video, to understand more what the investigation and the search looks like. Michael Alcazar, a retired NYPD detective, also a professor at the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. And you see some of those images, that security camera footage. What are you looking at, and where do you think the search stands right now for the police?
Well, the NYPD has been canvassing for video surveillance throughout the city, right? I mean, the New York Post got a hold of that. I'm confident that the NYPD got it before them. So they'll canvass for video everywhere. They're going to canvass for traffic camera videos, anything in buildings or businesses. It's like a puzzle they're putting together where they can track where this perpetrator fled. As I watched that video with you, I noticed that this guy seemed pretty calm when he committed this crime, when he assassinated the victim. It's very disturbing, like you said, to watch, but also it tells me a lot that he seems very familiar with his weapon. If you notice that he seems to do something with the gun, and what I think happened is it jams on him, meaning the bullet didn't cycle properly, so he had to clear the jam. It seems like he clears it twice. If you see him, he racks the slide of the gun to eject the shell, and he seems to do it a couple of times. And he calmly walks over to the victim until he collapses, and only when he's finished with this assassination that he runs across the street. So it's a lot of good information there. I know that I've read that they've recovered 9mm shell casings on the scene, which will have his fingerprints. It'll also help identify the weapon. It'll link it to the weapon if they recovered or when they recover it. So a lot of good information.
Yeah, a lot of good information. A lot of good information when you were reviewing that footage. And I spoke with a former FBI special agent earlier on, talking about the fact that they were using two hands on the gun. You also mentioned that it potentially could be jammed. Is that any indicator?
Yeah, if you're using two hands, this guy is very familiar with his weapon. He's probably trained at it. It looked like something I would do as a law enforcement officer. I would never shoot my gun one-handed. That's only in the movies. This guy is very familiar with his weapon. I'm sure it's his weapon. He cleared it confidently when it malfunctioned. So that tells me that he's very good with this weapon.
All right, very good. And I want to ask you, because you mentioned the 9mm casings and the potential that they have the fingerprints on them. Are those casings indicative of any particular gun, and can you learn something from that?
Sure. So not only will his fingerprints, potentially his DNA will be on the spent shell casings, it'll also tell our lab the rifling that on the bullets. Like that, I hate to say it, but they're going to recover the bullet from the victim, and the bullet will have rifling on it, and the rifling is unique to the weapon that fired it. So once they recover the bullet and once they recover the gun, that's all for courtroom testimony. They'll be able to link it, identify it as the weapon that was used for this homicide.
All right, very good. And that's very interesting, because you see some of these images, and we're not going to put it up again because it is obviously very graphic, very disturbing to see the man, Brian Thompson, get shot and killed there just on the sidewalk walking into this.
What's up, Magnite?
Oh, man, I got a lot to say on this one. You know I got a lot to say. Well, first of all, this guy's, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So when you fire a bullet, right, a round out of a gun, there's three things. Well, there's a few things that actually contact the bullet itself. Okay. The shell casing, it contacts the magazine that you use to put it into there. So there's an indentation there. When you fire it, the firing pin from the weapon contacts the primer of the bullet, and then the ejector on the shell casing contacts the shell casing. So the bullet, yes, it will have rifling on it, but here's the thing: you can buy a barrel online, like unregistered. They're not registered. It's not something you have to go and put your name down. The only thing you cannot buy online without actually going through gun paperwork is the actual frame of the weapon, the thing that you actually hold in your hand. You can replace all these parts easily with no ties to you.
Just click. They all click easily on. They snap together. How does that work? Do you have to have like some welding material or something like that?
Oh, no, sir. It's all, well, that's the great thing about Glocks. That's why I'm a Glock fan, is because you can buy Glock parts. They're, for the most part, depending on the caliber of the gun, the model of the gun, they're all interchangeable. I have different slides and barrels for my guns, so I don't have to buy a new gun if I want to do something different to it. It's all drop in, bro. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And if this guy is, quote unquote, I think everybody's overreacting here, calling him, a professional hitman, because I have some things on that. But if that's the case, he's gonna load his bullets with gloves on. If he's a professional, they're not gonna find any shell casings with his DNA on them. If he's a professional, which I think it's debatable, because anyone can buy a suppressor. If you can buy a gun legally, you can buy a suppressor. And I don't think he's very professional because you can see how when he's firing, the gun jams over and over again, right? That doesn't sound very professional to me. If I'm going to go on a hit with a weapon and a suppressor, I'm going to make sure that shit works.
Does the silencer have anything to do with why it may have jammed?
It can, yes. So they did mention something. So you have to be very careful with silencers. That's why you have to test them out beforehand. Because if it's not fitted correctly to the weapon, it could be the fact that he's using subsonic ammo, which is kind of counterproductive because if you're talking about a 9mm, okay, subsonic, right? Subsonic means slower than the speed of sound. 9mm rounds inherently are supersonic. All right, they cook out at about 1,100 feet per second. So the issue here is you're basically putting something, i.e. the suppressor, on a gun that's not designed to shoot something subsonic. So that's where you can have issues with it jamming. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some suppressors out there and, you know, setups, you know, that shoot 9mm rounds suppressed very well, very accurately, very reliably. But most people, when they suppress things like 22s, 45s, and whatnot, because you don't have those issues. And also, 9mm suppressed is not very quiet. It's not as quiet as you think it is.
Wow. So yeah, man. Let me play this.
Go to every surveillance camera they have. They're going to have the technical assistance response unit download these video surveillance from any place, stores, residences, and they're going to track them along with the e-bike, right, which is easily trackable with, you know, with his credit card, where he bought it. So there might be another point of starting where to find video. So it's daunting. I'm sure it's all hands on deck. Yeah. I'm sure there's a homicide task force out there right now interviewing witnesses, canvassing for more potential video. Again, they're putting the pieces of a puzzle together, but I'm confident they'll get it done.
Yeah, let's talk about the e-bike, because you mentioned that, and he did flee on that on North 6th Avenue there, away from the scene. Police today during their press conference said these bikes usually have a GPS. How helpful could that be, and how are they diving into that with those City Bike, that City Bike company?
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully the e-bike company is cooperating with NYPD. They can give them information on who rented the vehicles, right? And hopefully the GPS works, and we can track the mode of movement for any particular vehicle. Right now, we're looking at all the vehicles in Manhattan that kind of fits the profile for where this crime occurred. So again, a heavy undertaking, but you know, with technology, computer crime squad, our detectives, I'm confident that they'll be able to locate, if they haven't already identified, the perpetrator.
Yeah, they're gonna catch that guy. That was too brazen, right?
Absolutely. I mean, how many high profile, well, let's back up. How many quote unquote professional hits have we seen on camera? I mean, I'm gonna put myself in that guy's shoes. You know, you don't know what could have happened. There could have been a cop around the corner. There could have been, you know, witnesses, innocent bystanders, whatever. You know, there's his placement, him deciding to do that on the street, not in broad daylight, but in public. That tells me that shit wasn't professional. I mean, the guy knew what he was doing with the gun, but I mean, I teach my students, you know, how to shoot guns as well. So I mean, this ain't fucking John Wick over here. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. That guy. I you will give him credit though. It took a lot of bravery to do that, right?
Yeah, he had balls. I mean, I'm going more so on the side of there's some disgruntled activist or somebody whose, you know, dad died because he couldn't get health insurance or some shit like that. I'm going more along the side of that than it being like a professional.
Who would know what the CEO looks like? Like, there's something to the fact that, like, you know what the CEO looks like. The average person does, even though we got Google and all that shit. The average person doesn't know that shit. What CEO? Then you wait for him in the morning. Then you got a suppressor.
Anybody can get a suppressor, bro. If you can buy a gun, you can buy a suppressor. I know some people in the comment section are saying not New York City. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? You can get it anywhere outside of New York City. I mean, and bring it into New York City. It's not hard. I have multiple suppressors myself.
Good. Okay, great. So you just buy the suppressor at the gun shop with the gun.
No, so here's what happens. You can't get it the same day. It's actually gotten better. You can actually get it faster. But you go in there, you do some fingerprints. They do a deeper background check. You have to pay a $200 tax stamp on top of what you pay for the suppressor. I think the first one I got took me like maybe 4 months. And the second one I got was like a month or two. So it's gotten a lot quicker, but it's not. People act like this shit's on the black market or something. It's not. If you can buy a gun legally, you can buy a suppressor legally.
Okay.
A story still developing. Police are searching for the person who shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson Wednesday morning in Manhattan. Thompson was seen on video walking toward the Hilton Midtown Hotel for a corporate conference when a man approached him from behind and shot him in the leg and chest. The NYPD says every indication is that this was a premeditated shooting.
This does not appear to be a random act of violence. The victim was in New York City to speak at an investor conference. It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes.
CBS News law enforcement contributor Richard Esposito is with us. He is a former NYPD deputy commissioner. Thank you for taking time with us. Can you walk us through how investigations are proceeding at this time and what they are doing? How crucial are cameras?
So, an investigator's job is always to ask. And with the modern tools that they have, they're querying databases, cameras, facial recognition, and they're putting together, in the last 12 hours, they put together a picture of the suspected gunman that begins in Starbucks, where they've gathered video of him in Starbucks, and it appears they've gathered possible DNA evidence. So that's one of the more recent developments.
Don't tell me this dude threw his drink in the trash can.
Well. So the news report just answered our question of how he found the guy, right? They were at an investors conference. Okay, so investors conferences, that's public knowledge. They know who the speakers are going to be. That's how they get you there. You know what I'm saying? I invest, in XRP. So if, Brad Garlinghouse.
To know he's not going to park his car in the deck and walk to take the elevator down, to know he's going to be walking down the street.
We don't know he didn't follow him out or something. We don't know that. We don't know he was waiting for him at the exit, but we don't know if he was following him, once he got done speaking. I'm just saying that's how I would pick you up. That's how I would pick you up.
But 6:44, hold on, 6:44. That's 6:44 in the morning. Yeah, he was getting there early. He wasn't leaving. He was going there. 6:44 in the morning. There's nobody speaking at no fucking investors meeting, man. That stuff's not going to start until like 9 or business time and shit.
Well, I mean, can you back it up then? Because I guess I missed that part. I thought they said he was leaving the meeting.
No, the guy left. The killer left.
They've now traced his path away. First, he goes down an alley on the city bike, heading against the flow of traffic in that area. And then he goes through Central Park. Since earlier today, they've established he exits Central Park on the west side. And that's how they're building their hunt for him. They're using video cameras. They're using witnesses. They're using all the electronic tools. He left shell casings and shells at the scene. It appears his gun jammed between shots. And the full bullets that are left on the ground, those may have either fingerprints or DNA evidence on them as well. So if there's a database match on that, that will help them. And so that's the physical part of the investigation. And the other part of the investigation is, of course, establishing what kind of threats might have been against him, and so they are, getting search warrants for his hotel room where they'll examine his possessions, any electronics he has. They're talking to the police in his home. They're talking to corporate security. He's in a high-profile business, a business that gets a lot of complaints, and in those complaints, there may be some threats. So they're doing all of those things. It's a very methodical process, and 12 hours is not a long time when you have someone who thought through his crime very carefully, not perfectly, but very carefully.
And have you ever seen anything like this? I mean, in all the years that you were with the NYPD, it's garnered so much attention. We know that it appears to be premeditated, but does that make it even harder for police to do their job because this person may have some kind of experience?
When something is thought through, it always makes it harder. And certainly the majority of the crimes you see aren't thought through as well as this one. In all the time I've spent, whether in investigations in media or at the police department later, this is a fairly well thought out crime. You can see him with the suppressor in the video. He has a shooter's stance. He's masked, and he's thought about his escape route. All of these things make it challenging, but far from out of the ability range of the NYPD. They have great resources to nail down a crime like this.
Yeah, so much speculation on the motive, but of course the focus really trying to find the suspect. Richard Esposito, thank you.
Right now, hunting a killer. Tonight, in a city full of security cameras, investigators use multiple videos to try to piece together the path of the man they say gunned down a CEO in the heart of Midtown. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. More than 16 hours after the gunman shot and killed United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, the NYPD is tracing the suspect's movements through Manhattan. New video obtained by CBS News shows him leaving Central Park on the Upper West Side riding a bike just before 7 this morning.
Police say that was after security cameras showed him at a Starbucks in Midtown wearing all black and a distinctive backpack.
But it's still unclear why the gunman targeted Thompson in the first place. Right now, police are combing electronics to find out if there were any threats against him. We have team coverage here for you tonight. Dick Brennan has more on the victim. Let's begin with Allie Bauman, live at the scene where it all happened. Allie?
Christina, Maurice, the NYPD is all hands on deck for this manhunt, scouring surveillance cameras to trace the suspect and combing through the victim's phone and social media to see if he received any personal threats. But the two big questions that remain tonight are, why did this gunman target the victim, and where is the gunman now?
Person possibly shot in front of the Hilton Hotel.
Surveillance video captures the moment a masked man pulls a gun with a silencer on United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson Wednesday morning just after 6:45. We're freezing the video before he shoots the 50-year-old father of two. As Thompson bleeds on the sidewalk, the gunman can be seen trying to unjam his gun before shooting again, then calmly walking across the street as he picks up his pace. One witness snapped this photo after hearing the gunshots.
I was holding my phone, then I hear the shot. And when I looked at the guy was a gun, like the silent gun.
Thompson was in town from Minnesota for a United Healthcare conference at the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, where he was scheduled to address investors.
Every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target.
From the Hilton, investigators believe the suspect hopped on a bike and rode to Central Park. CBS News has obtained this surveillance video, which sources say appears to show the suspect cycling out of the park on West 85th Street just before 7 a.m., about 15 minutes after the shooting.
What we're looking at is a gunman who was thoughtful and prepared, staked out the scene, began by shooting the person in the back.
Former NYPD Deputy Commissioner Rich Esposito says the gunman may have planned carefully, but not perfectly.
It's not perfect preparation in that there's evidence left in the form of shell casings. There's evidence left from prior to the shooting.
Police say the suspect went to a nearby Starbucks minutes before the shooting. Sources tell CBS News surveillance images here may have captured enough of the suspect's face to run it through facial recognition programs. Police sources.
That's enough of his face. I was thinking that. I was thinking about that. So that's enough of his face for them to run it through their little algorithm. Wow. Yeah, he's cooked. It just shows you how, but sons get away with these type of murders all the time. This guy's cooked. How long do you think before they catch him, man? What's your
Less than a month.
Less than a month.
I hope he crossed the bridge because he got to be in Jersey somewhere.
Mm.
People talk about facial recognition and whatnot, but like, I mean, that's the thing. We don't know where this guy's from. We don't know where he originated in. We know that it's very difficult to get a suppressor in New York. Okay, so we know that. So most likely he got the suppressor and the gun outside of New York. So, I mean, I think this guy thought enough about this. He's not in New York anymore. They're gonna need to go. NYPD can't handle this. They're gonna need the FBI.
Yeah. Make sure you support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or the Super Chat. Hit the like button. Hit the PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat. Support the channel. Yeah, I was wondering, man, because they don't the eyes, man. The eyes tell everything. Like, I think they'll catch him in the next couple of days, or at least if they don't catch him, they'll have an ID. They'll be able to ID him in the next couple of days.
Images here may have captured enough of the suspect's face to run it through facial recognition programs. Police sources also tell us investigators are running forensic tests on a water bottle and candy bar wrapper they believe he left there, as well as on a discarded cell phone found near the scene.
The full investigative efforts of
if he left the candy bar and all that stuff, yeah, he's a water bottle, yeah, he's cooked.
Only if your DNA is on file somewhere.
But they can, but they have but they'll be able, if they catch him, they'll be able to use that as evidence.
Yeah, if they catch the person who killed John Benet Ramsey, they got his DNA too. But here we are.
Yeah, they gotta catch him first. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one.
the New York City Police Department are well underway, and we will not rest until we identify and apprehend the shooter in this case.
Now, the NYPD is working with authorities in Minnesota, where the victim is from, to dig deeper into any specific threats against him. And police sources tell CBS News that detectives have uncovered rantings against Big Pharma directed at United Healthcare, but no threats to Thompson's personal safety specifically. We're live in Midtown Manhattan. Allie Bauman, CBS News, New York.
Thank you, Allie.
So more about the victim now. Brian Thompson was the father of two. He worked at United Healthcare for 2 decades, leading its insurance division for 3 years.
Today, flags were lowered to have staff outside the company's headquarters in his honor. Dick Brennan here in studio now with more on how he's being remembered. Dick.
Christina Maurice, Brian Thompson led one of the biggest health insurers in the nation that provides health coverage to more than 49 million Americans. But tonight, after this awful shooting, his family is in mourning. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was married with 2 sons, and tonight his wife Paulette spoke of the family's great loss.
Brian was a wonderful person with a big heart and who lived life to the fullest. He will be greatly missed by everybody. Our hearts are broken and we are completely devastated by this news. He touched so many lives.
The 50-year-old Thompson lived in Minnesota, where the company is based, but he was in New York for the company's annual investor day.
The company is just distraught, and his colleagues are distraught.
Top executives quickly canceled the shareholder meeting.
We're dealing with a very serious medical situation with one of our team members. And as a result, I'm afraid we're going to have to bring to a close the event today, which I apologize for. I'm sure you.
A serious medical situation? Yeah, I would say that's the understatement of the year. Jeez. Yeah.
you'll understand.
Now investigators will probe every aspect of Thompson's life to try to find a motive.
They're going to look at the business end. You have a company that's laid people off. They're going to look at the personal stories, and they're going to focus on letters, desperate people who were denied care or tests or something that could have saved a life who blame the company.
Police sources say there were no known threats against Thompson, and security experts say not all high-level executives want to bother with a circle of protection.
And they think it's a violation of their privacy, and they think that it's a little pretentious. It draws attention to them, and basically they think, well, who would want to hurt me?
Thompson's death has sent shockwaves through the health industry.
I remember seeing the news at first, and I was just shocked. And then when I scrolled to see it was him, I just couldn't believe it. I still am processing.
Stephen Parente, a senior White House economist during COVID, worked with Thompson to keep hospitals open.
He helped so many people. I mean, there's family that know him and talked about him just wonderfully. But I mean, the impact that he had was, in the millions.
Now, security experts say the amount of cameras in the Midtown area will likely yield more photos of the suspect, and the quality on many surveillance cameras has greatly improved, giving police a better chance to track down the shooter. Maurice and Christine.
Thank you, Dick.
Now, Thompson's murder happened just blocks away from where thousands eventually gathered tonight for the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting. And the NYPD is trying to reassure New Yorkers and everyone else, tourists alike, that Midtown is safe. There was a massive police presence near Rock Center tonight. NYPD deployed plainclothes officers, police dogs, and multiple drones. And with millions expected to visit the city over the next few weeks, NYPD says we all have a role to play when it comes to public safety.
Community, they do a great job for us being a force multiplier and being our eyes and ears. Okay, like we always say, if you see something, say something and do something. And some of the last couple of events we had in the city, they did do that. So they're our partners. We can't do this without them.
NYPD says it's also using strategic response units and intelligence assets as part of its security plan. Additional officers are also stationed in the subway. We'll have continuing coverage for you as the manhunt continues. We'll have it on the air and streaming on CBS News New York.
Wow.
Tonight, a citywide manhunt for the person who gunned down the...
Remember that case we did the other day in D.C., the violence interrupter getting shot at the restaurant?
And in Maryland, the man accused of killing a community activist just appeared in court. And that's where we start tonight, where Leslie Moreno is live in Prince George's County.
Yeah, and Leslie, people are still talking about just how brazen this was outside a popular restaurant. You were in court. What else did you learn today?
Brazen.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, so the suspect in this case, Terrell Bailey, will be held without bond. Cornelius McDonald's mom and other family members were here at the bond hearing this evening. Very emotional, as you can imagine. We did also learn that Bailey is a father of 4. We're also told he's a private contracted special police officer in D.C. Prince George's County Police arrested Bailey on Tuesday. He's accused of shooting and killing 33-year-old Cornelius McDonald.
A private contracted police officer in D.C. I mean, I know in Virginia they have like private police that
just security guard.
No, they're like literally police officers, but they're private company. They're from a private company. Let me.
Police arrested Bailey on Tuesday. He's accused of shooting and killing 33-year-old Cornelius McDonald outside Jasper's in Largo this past Saturday. According to police, McDonald and Bailey did not know each other. They were both customers at the restaurant and got into an argument before the shooting. Several sources tell us McDonald initially tried to break up the fight inside the restaurant. Court documents say officers working security at the restaurant escorted Bailey outside after the argument.
So he tried to interrupt the violence inside the restaurant. Okay.
In Largo this past Saturday. According to police, McDonald and Bailey did not know each other. They were both customers at the restaurant and got into an argument before the shooting.
Several sources tell us McDonald initially tried to break up the fight inside the restaurant. Court documents say officers working security at the restaurant escorted Bailey outside after the argument. McDonald paid his bill and left. We're told Bailey allegedly followed him inside, continued the argument, and then shot McDonald multiple times. Bailey is being charged with first and second degree murder. He's expected back here in court.
He crashed out. Like, what made him crash out like that over? Like, what was the?
He doesn't like his violence to be interrupted.
No, this is the police officer. The other guy's the violence interrupter that's dead. This is the police, the private police officer. They say the private. They did a lot of that during COVID. They had a lot of private police officers. Let me see if I can show y'all what it is. Oh. Let me see. They got him in. Let's see.
Cleveland police could be getting some extra help patrolling some neighborhoods as private police departments look to expand their territory. Brandon Simmons explains how that works and who will foot the bill.
It needs to be safer for people to feel freely to be able to walk around and not have to worry that I'm going to get robbed.
Diana Fiore grew up near Little Italy and now works here. Over the years, she's seen an uptick in crimes.
Break-ins in the cars, if there's any loose change, they're stealing things and people's cars being taken.
Change could be coming soon with more police patrolling uptown neighborhoods, but officers won't be from the city. Instead, Case Western Reserve University and University Circle Police are looking to expand their territory.
These are institutions. These are large employers that are doing this. This is not a taxpayer expense.
Little Italy is in Council President Blaine Griffin's ward. More patrols would happen there and in the Glenville neighborhood near Wade Park, both on the outskirts of a bustling University Circle College campus.
They're doing it because of their own self-interest, because they have students and they have institutions in that area that have several employees.
But Griffin believes the entire city will benefit from the extra help, as Cleveland officers can be shifted elsewhere. At a safety committee meeting, Interim Chief of Police Wayne Drummond agreed.
I believe it's a force multiplier to have additional folks out there with pretty much having the same type of training that we have.
Because CWRU and UC Police are run by private institutions, this type of interdepartmental relationship is possible. Fiore says it doesn't matter what uniform officers wear as long as the neighborhoods are safer.
It makes me happy.
So yeah, private police are a lot of this was during COVID and stuff like that when they brought in a lot of private police. I'm trying to see a new one, man.
Are the private police more or less racist than the regular police?
I'm trying to tell you. You get caught by one of them private police officers, you get shot by one of them. Can you protest? Like, how do they deal with that when something happens, man? How do they deal with that? Yeah, when there's a BLM incident with a private police officer. Let's see.
Hey, that Little Italy.
Welcome to County Office, your ultimate guide to local government services and public records. Let's get started.
How are private police departments regulated? Private police departments are subject to a variety of regulations and guidelines that vary by state and local jurisdiction. Here are some key aspects of their regulation. State commissioning and licensing. Private police officers must be commissioned, licensed, and regulated by the state in which they operate. This involves swearing and qualification. Private police officers are generally required to undergo the same level of training as regular police officers. They must meet specific requirements, such as those outlined in Ohio Revised Code sections 19.71 through 19.77. powers and duties. Private police officers have the power to enforce the law, including the ability to arrest, but their authority may be limited to specific properties or areas they are assigned to protect.
Okay, so yeah, they just like any other cop, man. Private police officers. That's a yikes. That's a slippery slope. BLM definitely not gonna like that, man. Everyone hit the like buttons. Hit the like button, man. Let's get everybody right now to smash the like button so we get to 200 likes, man. You know anything about private police officers, Wicked? Like how can they work and all that stuff?
No, but I think the reaction depends on how much money can the Sun families get out of them, you know? Like, is the city gonna pay out for private cops? If so, then yeah, they're gonna burn it down.
It's a good point. It's a good reason to use them so the taxpayers don't get fucked.
But I wonder how that works, you know? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the idea of private cops, it doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Why not just get actual guys on the department, you know?
Well, they might not have enough.
For the first time, we were able to hear from Cornelius Neal McDonald's mother and sister, who say they are devastated by what happened, but strengthened by the overwhelming outpouring of support and love from the community. The suspect in this case, Terrell Bailey, appeared virtually via Zoom during that bond hearing. He didn't have anything to say during the hearing. The defense attorneys, however, are saying that he was acting in self-defense during that shooting that occurred outside of the Jaspers in Largo. Prosecution, however, disagrees with that. And in fact, they referenced a video that's been circulating online and social media, which appears to show Bailey bragging about the shooting afterward. News 4 obtained that video. Wow. Take a look.
Hey, that played with me, bro. I swear to God, he gonna kill Mo. I'm trying to get away.
Like an albino
in this video.
What's going on?
You know, Kill Mo is one of those Twitter pages that covers crime in DC. So he said the dude gonna be on Kill Mo. That's what he said, but
Hey, that played with me, bro. I swear to God, he gonna kill Mo. I'm trying to get away.
In this video, Terrell Bailey makes reference to Kill Mo News, a popular social media account that covers crime in the DMV. We asked the family of the victim, Cornelius Neal McDonald, about that video.
The video was absolutely disgusting. Like, it was hard to watch. It was just hard to watch. And for him to claim self-defense, it's a slap in the face.
Neal McDonald's family banding together in the face of tragedy. Prince George's County Police say he was shot outside of Jaspers early Saturday morning after some sort of verbal argument with Terrell Bailey. McDonald was pronounced dead at the scene.
I just want to make sure his legacy live on, and that's what he's reminded of, just so he can rest in peace.
This isn't the first time the family has experienced the pain of gun violence. McDonald's brother was killed more than 5 years ago. That led McDonald to start a nonprofit, Stay Solid, which supports youth and young adults in the region who are facing mental health challenges. In the days following the news, the outpouring of support from the community has been immense.
You know, I'm the strength for my family. I've been through this before, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to get through it the best way I can. He will be greatly missed, not just for me, but for the community, the DMV as a whole.
Yeah, big loss for the community. Now, as for the suspect here, Terrell Bailey, a preliminary hearing has been set for January 2nd.
he behaved like a common thug. He didn't behave like a police officer.
No, I was about to say that, right? That video right here. Look, I have no doubt in my mind that there's always been fuck ups in law enforcement since the beginning of time, right? But this whole BLM cause and effect is this right here, right? They increase like the standard but lower like the quality kind of deal. So you're gonna have guys like him, thugs. You know what I'm saying? Guys that are gonna, and look, Nick Todd said it before. like he paraphrased Jay-Z. It's hard not to kill some words, right? So you're
Like
gonna
a
have.
full-time job, not to kill some words.
You said what?
It's like a full-time job,
Yeah,
not to kill
exactly.
some words.
So you're gonna have guys that are not gonna be able to restrain themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, facts. Salute to my man Steve S. Man, he said, "Did you play Yak Gotti's mom's response to the YSL verdict? The entire trial was a conflagration of Sun tendencies, from the corrupt judge, the horrible prosecution, to the thieving." Yak Gotti, I heard something about Yak Gotti. We'll get into that after.
Wakanda.
Yeah, facts.
I'm intrigued.
Salute to Trey Agua, man. He said, "Peace officers." Boy Kachina says, "Ockfest on Boca Chica Beach for next SpaceX skyscraper rocket launch." Flat Earth, man. Talking about, man.
Matter of fact, funny you say flat earth. Today I took my shorties to the planetarium. So I've been really into it, with my kids.
Oh, well.
You know what, and not to into that grass, but I learned some shit that stuck with me like a motherfucker today. They said that between Earth and the moon, bro, you could fit all the planets. Think about that. Now, say we're to believe what they're saying is true, right? Say we're to believe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see the moon in the sky. Imagine all the planets, because I believe that shit. I do believe the space shit, but all the planets could fit between the Earth and the fucking moon? That's crazy, bro.
I don't even know what the moon is. I don't think they know what the moon is, but I don't want to digress. But I believe that the moon is there. I'm not saying that the moon isn't there in the sun.
It's a luminary.
What do you mean? Wait, hold on. I know you don't want to digress, but what do you?
It's
it
not
like a
something you can
hologram?
land on. Yeah, it's something. It might not even be a hologram. It might be something we don't know, like some kind of form that we can't even. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't even imagine.
Yeah. But you know what I thought of as far as your argument, not yours, but like the flat earthers and like the outer space doesn't exist. There's college students that are studying this that discover shit. That's too big of a conspiracy, no? How could they
I
keep that
got
shit
you.
secret?
I got you. No, I got you. I'm sure there's stuff out there. I'm sure that
they went to space.
No. There's students that look at the stars. They, the way they study astronomy, it's a science, dude. They have to
It's
be
mathematics.
precise. They have to be precise in their
I got you.
in the
I
research,
got
right?
you.
But yeah,
I got
BLM,
you.
right? But BLM, right?
Yeah. Salute the boy Kachina, man. Boy Kachina in the building. Let me you said Yak Gotti. Somebody said something about Yak Gotti.
Is it like a RICO case?
Now I heard his name going around today. Okay. He was found not guilty. Okay, I got you.
Him, okay. And then Mr. Stillwell's is dated today. Okay. All right, Mr. Kendrick. You have been found not guilty on all charges. Mr. Stillwell.
Okay.
Can you please stand? You have been found guilty on count 64, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and not guilty on every other charge.
Wow.
How much time
Free my boy.
Right. Back him up.
Look at this lawyer.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are officially released from further service.
Wow.
And I cannot express the degree of thanks that Fulton County owes you for your service. Given the length of this trial, you have paid close attention this entire time.
Patty
And
is a failure. She Remember her
Right.
big prosecutions was
Man,
YSL and Trump.
right. Man, how the mighty have fallen, man. She came out
Both
like
of
a
them.
shooting star.
Both
Yeah.
of them went, man. Both of them fell through. She's a big, fat,
Right.
embarrassing failure.
That was a nice speech, though. I'll give her that speech, though. It was a good speech,
Yeah, it
you know.
was.
But I mean, well, you know how that goes. They say every time a brother beats his case, an angel gets his wings. You ever heard that?
Yeah, man. I heard that one too, man. I heard that too, man. That's true, man. That's actually a fact, man. Yak Gotti. So that's Yak Gotti. Okay, so he YSL. He got stabbed in prison recently, though.
He made it though. He's
You
good.
don't say.
Yeah.
YSL co-defendant Yak Gotti was reportedly stabbed on Sunday at the Fulton County Jail during an altercation with another inmate. YSL co-defendant Yak Gotti was reportedly stabbed on Sunday at the Fulton.
I wonder why. I bet you if we heard why, it would be the funniest shit. Like the dumbest shit you could think of.
He probably cut in line because he thinks
Man.
he's like cool.
He probably stole dude's socks. And dude, you gotta stab him when they take your socks, Chiefs.
This dude, he was snitching too. So he snitched allegedly.
Okay, maybe that's the problem. And that's not the problem. All right.
So they all ratted. All of them rat. That's one thing about it, man. All these niggas ratting is not ratting. They try to make it seem like ratting is rare. I know nigga ratted on his brother and shit. Got his brother a bunch of times.
The one that got stabbed?
Nah. I know. I mean, I know personally one that
Oh.
Yeah, that ratted on his brother.
Damn. That's gonna make an awkward Christmas.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? I'm your guy. I got bodies on.
The subject of today's video is a cold-blooded killer that's ready to put in work at a moment's notice. For those of you that keep up with hip-hop, you know that one of the largest takedowns in rap history just went down. The YSL Street Gang, made popular by rappers Young Thug and Gunna, was just taken down in an indictment by the state of Georgia using the RICO Act. All of the members of YSL are now facing decades in prison. Young Thug and Gunna may be the big names of YSL, but there was another member that was the most dangerous and the one putting in the most damage in the streets. The name of that member is Yak Gotti, and today we're going to be telling his story. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Yak Gotti's real name is Diamante Kendricks. In an interview with No Jumper, he stated that the Yak in his name is short for maniac. He grew up in Atlanta and actually knew Young Thug at a very early age. They apparently lived in hoods right next to each other, and they met at just 7 years old. Yak's uncle owned his own record label, so this made Yak interested in making his own music. With a record label owning uncle and a friend like Young Thug, Yak would have his foot in the door in the music industry. However, music wasn't his primary focus. Yak states that he jumped into the street life at just the age of 13, and seeing one of his close friends get shot made him grow up quickly. Unfortunately for him, all of the negative repercussions of the gangster lifestyle would follow him all throughout his life. While in the streets, Yak would still play sports. In fact, he had college scholarships to play football from Division I schools. However, one day, he got accused of rape and lost all of his college scholarships.
Oh, no.
Yak was the most successful person and popular person at his high school, so he had a target on his back.
So he was the most popular person in his high school. His uncle owned a record label. There's nothing you can do for these niggas, man.
Like, what a piece of shit.
That's a piece of shit, man.
I mean, there's nothing you can do. Like the streets, the allure of the streets, the pull of the streets, the status and the social credit,
the social dynamics, exactly.
Yeah, the
Zeitgeist.
Yeah, it's just too much, man.
One day, a new girl transferred to a school and took an interest in Yak. The girl asked Yak to be her boyfriend, but Yak declined her. After this, the girl began to tell everyone that Yak raped her. Yak was just 16 at the time. The police went after him, but he went on the run. His mother made him turn himself in, and he had to spend time in an adult jail as just a 16-year-old. Yak would be released on bond, and nothing
sure
would
it was
ever
very
result
good
from
for
the
him.
case. The case stayed pending for 7 years, and Yak claims that the girl transferred schools and did the same thing to another boy. With all of his scholarships revoked and his sports dream crushed, Yak would fully dive into the street life full time. Just 2 years after beating the rape charge, Yak would be hit with his first murder charge. One day, Yak got into an argument with his mother, so his mother left the house and drove off. While she was driving, she honked a horn at a pedestrian that was walking across the street slowly. The pedestrian then cursed at Yak's mother, and the two of them got into a back and forth argument. As the argument ensued, the pedestrian pulled out a gun and opened fire, aiming at Yak's mother. Luckily, the shots missed, and Yak's mother was able to get away unharmed. In an interview, Yak can be quoted as saying, "You shoot at my mom, you gotta go." Eventually, the person that shot at Yak's mom will be found dead. The police charged Yak Gotti with the murder as they believed that he had a clear motive. However, the police were never able to prove that he was the one that killed the man that shot at his mother, so Yak was released on bond after 7 months and officially beat the case a year later. After beating the murder, Yak would have the reputation of someone that you shouldn't mess with. One day, while at a block party, Yak got into an altercation with a group of men. Yak Gotti is a Piru, and he was there dressed in red. The group of men were Crips, and they walked up on him, leading to Yak clutching his gun. The tension arose once Yak's crew walked into the party. A truck then ran over a bottle in the middle of the street, causing people to think that a shot was let off. This caused the two groups to then get into a shootout with each other, and Yak was shot 5 times but survived. He was shot 4 times in the leg and once in the arm. As the years continued, Yak Gotti would find himself wrapped up in a deadly gang war. Yak and his YSL crew would engage in a bloody beef with YFN that would terrorize the streets of Atlanta. It's rumored that the beef was started by a murder that Yak Gotti committed. On January 11th, 2015, YFN Lucci's mentor, Big Nut, was shot and killed outside of an Atlanta barbershop. 2 other people, including a 14-year-old, were also hit during the shooting. Big Nut's real name was Donovan Thomas, and he was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. This murder sent shockwaves throughout Atlanta and sparked the warfare between YSL and YFN. During the recent YSL indictment, Young Thug is believed to have been the one that rented the car used in the murder, and Yak Gotti is believed to be one of the gunmen responsible for the death of Big Nut. However, Yak wouldn't be charged for this murder until this year. He is now facing 1 murder charge and 2 counts of attempted murder for the shooting. Prior to the current indictment, Yak would serve some serious jail time. On October 1st, 2015, Yak and his passenger Duke from YSL fled a traffic stop and engaged in a short high-speed chase that ended after Yak ran a stop sign, lost control of the vehicle, and hit a guardrail. The police apprehended the men after they attempted to flee on foot. Upon searching the vehicle, the officers discovered a small amount of marijuana, as well as a pistol and a semi-automatic rifle, both loaded. Later investigation revealed that both firearms were stolen. In subsequent interviews with police, Yak admitted that he owned the rifle and that he lent it to Duke, who planned to use it that night to retaliate against a rival gang who beat him up. Yak also told police that the pistol was his and described an unrelated incident shooting that firearm. Yak and Duke were both charged in state court, but while Yak was also charged in the instant case in federal court, Duke was not charged in federal court. Yak ultimately pled guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. He ended up serving 5 years in prison starting in 2015, and he was released in 2020. After being released from prison, Yak Gotti's music career began to take off. As his music career had began to take off,
After
Funny how
being
that
released
works.
from prison, yeah, right. It always works like that.
state court. But while Yak was also charged in the instant case in federal court, Duke was not charged in federal court. Yak ultimately pled guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. He ended up serving 5 years in prison starting in 2015, and he was released in 2020. After being released from prison, Yak Gotti's music career began to take off. As his music career had began to take off, Yak and all of YSL have now been taken down by the police. He is now facing charges for the murder of Big Nut and various other conspiracy charges. Included in the indictment is the Instagram post that Yak made of him standing out the car of his rival YFN Lucci. The police are using this post to prove that Yak is a dangerous member of YSL.
Zestiest narrator ever.
Bars.
Huh?
I said this is the zestiest narrator ever.
Well, it's Atlanta, bro. Gotta be zesty.
Wow, this is crazy. These dudes are some dangerous dudes, man. Some dangerous guys, man. Shit.
Man, run of the mill son, man. What you mean?
Yeah, no, run of the mill son, man. Yeah, but it's just like he.
Nah, they ain't like your boy up in Philadelphia, bro, with the 11 body count in 2 months.
You talking about Birmingham? They kids from Birmingham.
Oh, okay, yeah, they ain't like him. They ain't on his level.
Well, it could have been Philadelphia. Let's be fair, right? It could be anywhere.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
And we begin with a Fox 5 exclusive. A D.C. woman is still terrified. This after she says a man randomly punched her while she was walking near a Smithsonian museum in Northeast.
That is our big story tonight here at 10 o'clock, and Shamari Stone has the story.
Context clues.
Northeast.
Tonight, that woman is still shaken up. She says she was walking outside here near the 200 block of Massachusetts Avenue Northeast near the Smithsonian National Postal Museum. Last Wednesday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when D.C. police tell us a man ran up from...
This is Union Station. This is the train station. This is a bunch of fucking vagabonds and transients hang out there. And it's gotten worse over the years as far as like the transients.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, and I mean this. I'm really hoping it's not a brother. I'm rooting for on this one. I'm rooting for the brothers.
Oh, it's a brother. This is a brother. This is DC.
Well,
this is a brother.
Well, let's see.
From behind her.
I used to hang out. This is like our mall. This train, we didn't have no mall in the city, and this train station had stores in it. We go hang out there on the weekends. Had a food court and everything. So
how's it looking nowadays? Because the malls have been dying out, right, across the country.
No, I mean I don't think kids hang out at malls no more. But back in the 90s, this is where we hung out at. Went to the movies, had a movie theater, had restaurants, had a nice food court.
Have a couple fights. Had a couple.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be stuff going on down there, but it would just be little dumb stuff, but it would be rarely some big stuff. But it was like a train station. It's like the biggest train station in the region. Like it's like where everybody, it's like an airport like train station. Like it's the Amtrak and all that shit right there.
You're gonna have a lot of transients in that place. In any place like that, you're gonna have a lot of transients.
This is where that congressman was playing footsie with the guy in the next cell, in the next bathroom, and he got caught up. He was like a Republican congressman, maybe years ago, but he like it's a lot of like they got a bathroom where like gay dudes go in there and gay.
I don't know about that bullshit.
But it's like in Capitol Hill. It's like literally in Capitol Hill, so it's like
makes sense. They're there.
Yeah, so
it's like that in Capitol Hill, Seattle too.
Yeah, so it's like this one congressman, he got caught doing that shit, going in that bathroom, and like they got like gays dudes. Like if you gay, you can like put your foot under the next stall, and the other person can put their foot on yours.
Wow.
Can you imagine that shit though? If you're not gay and that shit happens, like
yeah,
every time Every time I go there, I just take the cab and just get the hell out of there
Yo,
quickly.
but if what you're saying is true, Ak, about all these transients there and this incident occurring, I think we need to do more for that brother. We
Nah.
failed that brother. You know, that bitch, fuck her. But him, we gotta help him. He's a victim.
I think, and they also had homeless encampments around here over the last few years. They didn't have homeless encampments; they just had homeless dudes hanging out there. But since like COVID and all that shit, they said homeless encampments over here. So it's become way worse than it used to be back when in the 90s when I would go to that place.
Sorry.
Tonight, that woman is still shaken up. She says she was walking outside here near the 200 block of Massachusetts Avenue Northeast near the Smithsonian National Postal Museum. Last Wednesday around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when DC police tell us a man ran up from behind her, sucker punched her, causing her to fall to the ground. You're now going to hear exclusively from the woman. How are you feeling?
Just really scared and anxious.
Anxious.
I haven't gone out of the house by myself since the incident, so it's been almost a week. And it's just a lot of paranoia, anxiety. I find myself hyperventilating when I try to go out. So it's a lot of fear.
And another woman telling me she witnessed what happened from her car and recorded this cell phone video of the alleged attacker. You can see the woman who was sucker punched in the distance, wearing the light blue hooded sweatshirt, holding her head. We're not revealing the man.
Well, that dude might be white, man. Let me see.
Nah, that's a
sweatshirt, holding her head. We're
light-skinned brother, yeah.
not revealing the man's identity because DC police have not named him a suspect or charged him with a crime. Let's hear from the witness.
I had my wedding reception like 2 blocks from here.
Hold on. That's the
man turn.
That's the suspect, but his face is blurred out.
They haven't charged him.
Because DC police have not named him a suspect or charged him with a crime. Let's hear from the witness. What did you see?
I saw this man turn towards the couple and punch the woman in the face.
So she was with a man and this dude punched her in the face. That means that's just, man, fuck that dude.
Really hard. It looked like he punched her temple and she immediately fell and grabbed her head, and the man just continued to scream and turned around and started screaming at the cars. And that was the point at which I pulled out my camera and started recording him.
Now, both women tell me that the alleged attacker then took off running that way toward Union Station. If you have any information about this call, DC police are continuing to investigate.
Yeah, that place has gotten really fucked up, man, over the
Within the last 2 hours, a man accused of murdering his own sister and young niece appeared in court. We told you about this first on Friday when the double killing happened. Ugochi Iloka joining us live outside the Harris County Criminal Courthouse with more disturbing details. And Ugochi, what was decided in the hearing today?
Support the channel via PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat, man. Make sure you guys support the channel. Yeah, man.
Sherman, right now, 29-year-old Kendrick Rayvon Fisher will remain in jail after a judge decided to set a bond hearing for February 4th. We also learned in that court hearing that Fisher allegedly tried to attack his mom and sister before and also allegedly threatened to kill the family. Now, just a warning, the details we discovered about this case are very graphic. If you take a look at your screen, this is Fisher, who is now charged with the stabbing deaths of his sister and 2-year-old niece, facing a judge this morning. Now, authorities say Fisher's sister called a friend Friday saying her brother was acting crazy and refused to leave. According to the prosecutor, Fisher's sister was told to call 911 by...
He looked like he missing some chromosomes, though, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. He looked like he missing something. You know, development, maybe fetal alcohol syndrome or something going on with
It's
it.
the eyes,
Officer was
man.
told to call 911 by
Eyes.
that friend. The friend then showed up at her friend's apartment on Richmond Avenue to check on her. The prosecutor says the friend claimed to see Fisher there, blood in the bedroom, and the toddler's body in the closet. Court documents state when police later responded that same morning, they found Fisher asleep on the couch in the apartment with blood on his clothes. Here's what the prosecutor has to say about the murder suspect in this case.
I did ask for no lower than a $3 million bond. Somebody with this little regard for human life, somebody that's willing to stab a 2-year-old to death, is not somebody we can have.
And then fall asleep on the couch. Then he looking
That's
around like
insane, bro.
Horrific allegations there. Also, investigators say that Fisher had
Yeah.
injuries that were consistent with a physical struggle. Today, his defense attorney told me they will be looking into the state of his mental health before that bond hearing in the new year.
Yeah, we gotta get him some help, man. I agree, man. Let's get Dave together some help.
Yeah, he needs a 147 grain lead injection directly into the brain.
A nice programmer service can surely help him.
Now, some quick paddles, man. Maybe that'll do it. Just a couple of paddles on the ass might work. I don't know.
Yeah.
These people need to be put down, bro. Like, really, they need to be put down. Like, summary execution, man. That's the only thing that's gonna fucking help this shit.
Hit and run suspect accused of killing a man on an electric bike is in custody tonight after eluding police for a good part of the day.
Yeah, deputies say they caught her trying to board a flight tonight at Bush Airport. Matt Doherty is live at the Harris County Jail with a surprising end to this search. Matt?
The bike rider has not been identified, the one who was killed so far. He's only been described as a man in his 30s. This is where the crash happened this morning off of Airtex, where investigators say a woman driving a Cadillac SUV drove off after she hit a man on an electric bicycle.
Metal to pavement, tire treads going all over the place, and they were just speeding down the street.
Harris County Precinct 4 deputy constables released security video images of the suspect running away from the vehicle. After that, they say they believe she had someone pick her up who helped her get away. But tonight at Bush Intercontinental Airport, the suspect was caught. Seen here in these photographs released by the constable's office, the woman now identified as Nyla Gamboa was allegedly trying to board a flight out of state. She was arrested for failure to stop and render aid involving death. We're still waiting to find out what charges, specific charges, this woman may be facing and if she will be given bond. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this developing story.
She thought she got away with that shit.
Yo, they said Gamboa. We'll take this one. Don't worry. We will take it. Gamboa, we'll take it.
Yeah, you gotta take the L, bro. That's
In other news tonight, Philadelphia police say an argument.
Yeah,
she want burritos, man.
Right.
She obviously asked that.
In other news tonight, Philadelphia police say an argument over trash led one neighbor to shoot another in North Philadelphia. Happened on the 2900 block of Hicks Street late last night. Well, tonight, one person has been charged. Action News reporter Annie McCormick is live at police headquarters with the latest developments. Annie.
Yeah, and Rick, today a 37-year-old woman was charged in a shooting. Police say that she shot her neighbor over a dispute over where to put the trash. And tonight, that neighbor that she allegedly shot still remains in the hospital.
Out of nowhere, I heard bow, 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 like 5 shots.
Gunfire rang out around 10 p.m. Tuesday here in the 2900 block of North Hicks Street. The gunshots left a 30-year-old man shot twice with wounds to the chest and leg.
I seen the police officer pick the person up and run them into one of the emergency vehicles.
The district attorney's office charged the victim's neighbor, 37-year-old Tanisha Holloway, with aggravated assault and additional charges.
We believe there was a verbal argument earlier in the day over trash placement. That argument continued. At some point, it turned to a confrontation. between the complainant in this case, who supposedly had a screwdriver.
They got kids out here, and the kids could instantly get shot.
Neighbors reacted today. Police don't know at what point the shooting victim had the screwdriver and believe he was inside his home when he was shot.
There were 2 shots that went through a door, and it looks like some other shots that may have gone straight into the property.
Yeah, and the shooting victim was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. At last check, we were told that he is currently in stable condition. There was also a 17-year-old that was taken into custody for questioning last night. We were told that that 17-year-old is being treated as a witness. For now, reporting live outside of Philadelphia Police Headquarters, Annie McCormick, Channel 6.
Nick Tell still in the back?
Yeah, next time the bag, I was going to tell you.
Yo, it's cracking.
What's happening, man?
Same old shit, different toilet paper.
Yeah, man. Wow.
A group residents in Bucks County is sparking concern in the community. Investigators say many troubled young men who live there are simply walking away from the facility and committing violent crimes. Action reporter Walter Perez is live from Bensalem Police Department tonight with those details. Walter.
Well, Rick, Bensalem police say they've responded to the St. Francis, St. Vincent home 363 times this year on reports of a missing resident. And while police say that's not altogether unusual, what has them concerned is the kinds of crimes some of them are getting involved in once they leave the property. Christina LeBoy of Bensalem says it was early Monday morning when she was carjacked. Several young men surrounded her car, one of them putting a gun to her head.
It's terrifying. I froze. I didn't know what to do, but I just listened to what they told me to do, and they took my car.
Approximately 24 hours later, another car theft in the same general area. This police dash cam video shows a Bensalem police car getting rammed by that second stolen vehicle a short time before officers made 2 arrests. Police also recovered a pocket knife and this stolen semi-automatic handgun. The suspects, who've since been linked to both crimes, included the 15-year-old driver and 18-year-old Theron Battis, who's a resident of the St. Francis and St. Vincent home in Bensalem.
There's a lack of supervision at night hours.
Police Commissioner William McVeigh says reports of young men simply leaving that facility and creating problems in the township is nothing new. But he says what has historically been reports of property crime is now developing into violent crimes involving a gun.
What we're seeing now is an increase in chaos, stealing from local merchants, breaking into cars, and now this one we can't tolerate, pointing a gun at a young woman and carjacking her.
According to the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, St. Francis and St. Vincent is a place where adolescents and young adults, primarily from Philadelphia, who've had run-ins with the law are remanded by the courts. The Archdiocese sent Action News a statement reading in part, serving the needs of this vulnerable population while maintaining a positive relationship with our neighbors in Bensalem remain our top priorities. Now, Theron Battis has since been charged with aggravated assault on a police officer, car theft, and weapons offenses. Tonight, he remains behind bars on 10% of $3 million bail. Reporting live from Bensalem Police, Walter Perez, Channel 6 Action News. Shari?
All right, Walter, thank you.
Wow. Let's see.
Shocking murder in Midtown Manhattan, New York.
A group in other news tonight.
Wow. Boulder. Let's just go to Boulder, Colorado. Let's see who's doing.
Once every few days, on average, somebody in a jail in Colorado walks out because the state can't figure out what to do with them. Most are so severely mentally ill, they likely have little idea why they're being released.
Investigates Chris Anderveen recently came across one case out of Boulder that highlights a much broader problem with how the state treats those who are incompetent to stand trial.
A white boy.
His is a story best told not from the beginning, but near its end.
He was a fun little
Sounds like
kid.
Jimmy.
The night a system once again let down everyone involved.
He was sweet. He was normal. He was playful. He loved to laugh.
No longer the little kid who liked to laugh, an expressionless man we'll call Cole walked away from a jail staffed by deputies no longer able to stop him.
He came out holding a sandwich and a drink of some sort.
Even his mom will tell you what happened that night was wrong.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's so traumatized already. Oh, there's anger. Yeah. Yeah, there's anger.
Deputies in Boulder County say a man is in jail after attacking a girl near a middle school today.
1 year prior, that release might have seemed unimaginable, particularly to the family of the middle school-age girl investigators said Cole assaulted.
The girl says she screamed for help, kicking at the man and pushing him away.
A frightening crime that earned Cole a notorious nickname.
Everybody thought he was the boogeyman. Sure enough, first opportunity comes along, he's the boogeyman.
Joe Swenson represented Cole in court. We're choosing to show but not name Cole to help protect his identity online for reasons that might become apparent.
Hey, Cole? Cole, this Deputy Tagley Phillips. You can call me Tony.
Apparent once you see the body camera recordings of his arrest.
So you're Cole, right?
Yeah.
All right. We just need to talk to you about what happened today, man.
Hours after the assault, investigators came to his mom's house in search of their one and only suspect.
Were you on a walk today at all?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Would you lie to me?
He doesn't know what day it is. He doesn't know what time it is. He doesn't know what he had for breakfast.
Swenson knows his client has what deputies suspected.
You've been taking your medications?
Suspected right away.
You don't know if you're taking your medications today?
No. I think I have.
His mom says it started shortly after he turned 16.
It's shocking. You have no idea what's going on.
I'm doing it in a house mostly.
Doctors use the term schizoaffective disorder.
He thought his family was trying to kill him. He stopped eating. You can't help but project into the future when you have a child. You're raising that child, but nothing prepares you for this. Nothing.
Anything? What do you mean anything?
His life became one lived on repeat. Hospital visits, arrests, hospital visits, and more arrests.
One time they picked him up walking down the middle of Broadway with no shirt or shoes on.
You understand what Miranda is?
And so months into Cole's most recent stay inside the Boulder County Jail, Cole's attorney did what state law allows him to do. He asked for an evaluation to see if Cole was competent enough to assist in his own defense. The evaluation concluded Cole was poorly oriented to person, place, time, and situation. He did not know the date, and it was not apparent he understood the context of our meeting. Incompetent to proceed. You think that seems pretty clear?
That he was incompetent? Extremely clear.
And so on September 4th, and for the second time in his life, a judge did something required by law.
He was getting out. I wasn't told when he was getting out. What the terms of his release were, just that the case is dismissed.
Not required by law. Any specific way to do it.
They let Joe know that he could be released sometime between 11 and 1 in the morning.
Case dismissed, Cole released a little after 11 p.m. with no money, no shoes, and most importantly, no plan.
So he's got no access to meds, no health insurance, no plan, no pamphlet on where to go, nothing.
He's holding nothing but a sandwich and a drink of some sort. Nothing.
9 News Investigates found it's a story that's repeated dozens of times.
If
every
only
year.
he had a pamphlet.
The state calls them
Yeah.
PITPs, permanently incompetent to proceed. 48 times last year, 44 the year before, 36 the year before that, and 34 in 2020.
He was in jail for a year. There should be a plan for what happens when he gets out.
Newly elected state senator Judy Amabile
We're failing miserably on this front.
says we have identified a gap that needs to be addressed.
And you do have to wonder, in what world is
Man, what the hell?
found unlikely to be restored to
We gotta fucking hold this grown ass man's hands to life.
eligible for mental health care?
Might as well keep him in there.
You don't want to talk to me? Is that correct?
Cole's family has since moved him.
Fuck these people, man. Let's see this, man. Fuck, hold on.
They didn't give him instructions on what to do. Like, what the? This nigga a grown ass man. What the fuck you mean, bro?
Telling you, man.
Instructions, nigga. What?
But I mean that scenario is terrifying. I mean, they say when he turns 16, I heard that happening like to
Yo,
something, you know, like some schizophrenic symptoms start occurring, and it's
nah,
very unfortunate.
I have people close to me that suffer from that, and it is messed up. But at some point, it's like, yo, if this nigga can't take care of himself, he got to get put somewhere, bro. I don't want him in society, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody got some noise in the background. Somebody got a lot of like static. Like what is
Oh
that?
yeah,
Who's
yeah, it's
bringing
pretty
in?
bad actually. Yeah, it's pretty bad shit.
Whatever. But let me move along. I think that's
I
one of
don't feel
y'all.
that she was the intended target. Not her. Not her.
Tonight, that heartbroken mother is mourning her daughter who was shot and killed on the job at an East St. Louis McDonald's Monday night. The victim's mom talked only to 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan, and she joined us in the studio with her fight for justice. Megan.
And 23-year-old Deanna Samuel was shot multiple times while working in the drive-thru. Her mom says her shift started, and a little over an hour later, it ended.
And the next time I see her, we'll have to be at a funeral home. So no goodbyes, no nothing.
Deanna Samuel, an innocent McDonald's manager caught in the crossfire.
I feel there should be justice because she didn't deserve it.
Families lined the Central Business District in East St. Louis to celebrate their children winning another football championship. Right behind them on North 24th Street, Samuel's mother, Angela Johnson, just lost her child.
You want to see her. You want to talk and make sure she's okay. I just feel stupid standing here waiting on the text that in real life I know not going to come. But I want her to know I love her.
This was Samuel's second job for the past 7 years. Samuel, her mom, and brother all work together. Johnson said she had just finished her shift before the gunfire started.
By the time I got home, I was receiving a call from one of the young ladies telling me Deanna had been shot.
Johnson believes her killer was looking for somebody else.
I don't feel like she was the intended target, but evidently they missed their target.
This is the second homicide at that McDonald's this year. As the store manager, her mom wants to see the violence end.
We haven't accepted it, and we're just, we want justice.
Illinois State Police say nobody has been arrested or charged in Samuel's murder. ISP is working with East St. Louis Police to solve the case.
Yo, what's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dave. I'm back in the flesh for another legendary video. Got some news stories breaking out in the city of Compton. We had a 9-year-old boy initially was killed after a gang retaliation or gang warfare that was going on in the likes of Compton. Some things never change when it comes to being in the hood, as I officially grew up in Inglewood and know the lights of how dangerous it possibly can be in those areas, in those condoned situations and territories. But the news broke out about this 9-year-old boy was caught in a crossfire, which is shout out to KTLA for providing the information and other news outlets for getting into this information. But let's go ahead and get into this video. Appreciate you guys coming through, and let's go ahead and see how everything broke down with this news breaking out.
Now to more breaking news. A 9-year-old boy is gunned down while playing in front of his grandfather's home in Compton.
And tonight, the boy's loved ones are holding a prayer vigil to honor his memory. Carlos Aceto joining us live in Compton tonight with more on that. Carlos?
Kareem, the community is calling this a senseless tragedy. A 9-year-old boy, a 9-year-old child was shot and killed here at this intersection behind me, just outside his grandparents' home in the city of Compton. Now, we have very limited information at this point. Take a look here. This is what we know so far. Family members say Princeton Nicholas Jones, who was autistic,
Was autistic. Yeah,
was shot and killed in front of his grandparents' home. Shots rang out around 7:40 Saturday evening in the 15,000 block of Haskins Avenue.
What's it?
Yeah, somebody got an open mic, I think, because there's somebody talking.
boy, a 9-year-old child, was shot and killed here at this intersection behind me, just outside his grandparents' home in the city of Compton. Now, we have
That's
very
tough.
limited
Look
information
at
at
the
this point.
situation.
Take a look here. This is what we know so far. Family
cute
members say
kid,
Princeton
too.
Nicholas Jones, who was autistic,
On
was
the
shot and
situation
killed
being
in
at
front of his
Compton,
grandparents'
something
home.
you didn't
Shots
expect
rang
to
out
see
around
when it comes to
7:40
lights and
Saturday
different
evening
Oh, that's
in
his
the
ass.
15,000
Rough.
block of Haskins Avenue in
That's
Compton.
Yeah,
him.
that's his video. That's his video.
Compton. Now, there's no word on who might have pulled the trigger, if it was Rand.
All right. Let me.
Breaking developments tonight, and we have learned the man who shot a famous Akron bounty hunter in October will not be charged for the shooting. 19 investigator Kelly Kennedy explains why.
Video obtained from Akron police shows the tense moments 37-year-old Franklin Frazier was shot while trying to serve an arrest warrant. But in an unexpected twist, the man who pulled the trigger won't be charged for shooting the bounty hunter.
Yeah, he's breathing. Chest wound, upper left.
Summit County prosecutors say this is the man who shot Frazier, 18-year-old Amos Coleman. But Coleman isn't off the hook. He's currently remanded to the Summit County Jail and is charged with having weapons under disability, a third-degree felony.
I know
So
that
why
bounty
wasn't
hunter.
Coleman charged with shooting Frazier?
Yeah.
The prosecutor's office says
Yeah,
it has
he's well known on YouTube.
This guy right here.
Yeah, he got into bounty hunting because what's the white dude name?
Dog.
Dog.
Yeah, dog gave him inspiration. That's why. So I
Yo,
started watching his YouTube.
wasn't Dog an avid racist or some shit like that?
Nah,
Nah,
dog
he
wasn't
said he's
racist.
a bounty hunter. You a bounty hunter,
Yeah.
you gonna be racist because who's the people you know what I'm saying? Who the people you come into contact with? I think they said
But
he
this
said the N-word one time, so that makes him racist.
I wonder
yeah,
if he
but
said it like my song word or fuck you song word. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I know this dude though. He got inspiration from dog, and you know that's why he started doing it.
Salute to Eric S. Man. He says, "Good grief, how many blacks have been laid down in the last 10 years? Not the intended target."
felony. So why wasn't Coleman charged with shooting Frazier? The prosecutor's office says it has to do with Ohio's Castle Doctrine. The law allows a person to use deadly force to defend their home from someone they believe to be a threat. Akron police determined in this case, self-defense applies. The victim, Franklin Frazier, also known as Bounty Tank on his TV show, has had several surgeries. And while he is improving, he's expected to be in the hospital for several more months.
We got an armed defendant in there right now. Hey, let's get him real cover.
I discovered the month before Frazier was shot, Coleman was charged with unlawful possession of a dangerous ordinance, and also, again, having weapons under disability. In 2023, he was also found guilty of felonious assault in juvenile court, which means he is not allowed to carry a gun. The Summit County prosecutor's office says if new evidence comes to light, the 18-year-old could still face more charges. Coleman will be in court on December 11th. I'm Kelly Kennedy, 19 News.
Took 4 years, but some local families finally have a sense of justice.
2 men will likely spend the rest of their lives in prison for killing 3 people.
Arya Janelle watched as these family members came face to face with their children's killers.
The 2 men sentenced today were juveniles when they committed these crimes back in 2020. 2 other juveniles and a man killed by their actions, creating chaos and destruction for multiple families.
It makes no sense, but anybody can disregard someone's life like that.
Yo, that's crazy, yo. Them teeth is crazy, yo.
Dude, for real.
That's like offensive. Like, yo, get some dentures, baby. Like, yes, you offending us, man.
Monstrosity.
Why she just drink smoothies all day? She know she can't eat a burger.
You said she being disrespectful?
Yeah, it's disrespectful, man. She eat baby food, man. Bro, I can't. That bro can't eat no steak or nothing like that, man. God damn.
To disregard someone's life like that.
A mother outraged after she comes face to face with one of the men who was there when her 15-year-old son, Anthony Hughes, was killed. The senseless crime happened back on December 9th of 2020.
He went to the Boys and Girls Club to stop the violence meeting and to come out to get shot.
Jehida Aaron and Brian Cox Jr. convicted in the 15-year-old's death. They were 17 and 16 at the time and a part of a group they called Backstreet. The two boys shot at Hughes from a stolen vehicle and sped off, a crime that prosecution says Aaron had done before, listing out his crimes while holding the gun he used to do them.
Fired 9 times at Anziah Brooks.
A boy who was just trying to ride his bike on November 8th of 2020 when Aaron shot him in the head and shoulder.
I'm kind of at a loss for words. I never really expected to even see my son's killer, man.
After shooting Brooks in a stolen car, Aaron and another man, Derek Thomas, drove away. Brooks died 4 days later. Thomas was sentenced to 18 to 23 years in prison for that crime.
Never meant for this to happen. It was a mistake, but I'm gonna leave it for the rest of my life.
And in the middle of those 2 instances was a third homicide, which he's already doing time for.
Aaron involved in 3 people's deaths, all in a matter of weeks, showing very little remorse for the crimes he was convicted of.
I'm no monster or no menace to society. I'm a regular human being. As we go through life, make wrong and right decisions.
And that's true to a degree. I mean, like where he's from, that's really like it's like that's
normal.
Not really like exactly. Guys like this are normal.
No monster or no menace to society. I'm a regular human being. As we go through life, make wrong and right decisions.
And now he'll spend at least the next 45 years in prison for those decisions. As I mentioned, Brian Cox Jr. was also a part of these crimes. He was not sentenced today. He'll learn his fate next month. Here in Cleveland, I'm Aria Janelle, 19 News.
45 years seems like he got off.
South Florida woman.
It seems like he got off good 45 years for 3 homicides.
Tonight, a South Florida woman was sentenced to 20 years in prison for leading a nearly $200 million Ponzi scheme that defrauded several investors.
Nico Clemens is live in Miami tonight. And Nico, you spoke with one of those victims.
And he was in court today when the judge sentenced the woman, U2. Look, he said he's moved on, but make no mistake, he says he was angry because this was his money, thousands of dollars. And he's accepted that he won't get most of it back.
Everything was good until it was ugly.
He trusted her.
And I was blindsided and I was devastated. I was crying. I was sad. I realized, what am I going to do?
More than 3 years later, Stephen Schulman watched the judge sentence Joanna Garcia to 20 years in prison. Garcia, the former CEO of MJ Capital Funding, LLC, pled guilty for her role in a nearly $200 million Ponzi scheme that defrauded several investors. A Ponzi scheme often starts when a person offers to invest your money and you, the investor, are promised a consistent high return. Schulman was one of those investors.
I researched her, and she came on to me with her story and her background. She was called Mother Teresa.
Prosecutors say the scheme lasted from October 2020 through August 2021. They say the company didn't earn the profits it needed to pay investors back, so Garcia used the money raised to pay off previous investors while stealing millions of dollars for her own personal benefit.
The money that I lost was going to pay to save the lives of animals in distress.
Schulman is the CEO and founder of Animal Care Now, a nonprofit that provides emergency funding for animals in distress. He says he trusted Garcia with $50,000.
My insurance business faltered. There was COVID killed it. And my real estate business killed it. And so, this came along at an opportune time.
Schulman knows he can't go back in time, but he's satisfied knowing there's some justice.
I wasn't going to get any money back. I lost everything, but at least she won't be able to harm anybody. And her nefarious ways of doing things is over.
Schulman says of the $50,000 he invested, he only got back about $12,000 of it. In Miami, Nico Clemens, NBC6 News.
And in Maryland, the man accused of killing a community activist just appeared in court. And that's where we start tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Liza Moreno.
We did that one. We did that one. Let me see. Wow. Here we go.
Topping our news at 6, the murder trial of Timothy Harrington Jr. gets underway in Oxford. Harrington is charged with murdering University of Mississippi student Jimmy J. Lee. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Investigators say the
Everybody hit the like button right quick. Everybody, if you have not hit the like button, hit it. We're trying to get to 200 likes. Please hit the like button right now. What?
Yo, you cracking?
What do you mean I'm cracking my voice?
No, I'm talking about this dark butt.
Oh. Nah, that's Granny. That's Grandma, man.
The victim and the accused were involved in a sexual relationship, but have never found a body, and their case is largely circumstantial. WRG's Mike Sirianni brings us updates on the first day in court.
Sort of tell you what to anticipate in this case moving forward. Just pay attention as I read, okay?
Circuit Judge John Kelly Luther preparing jurors for the first day of the murder trial of Timothy Harrington Jr. in Oxford, Mississippi, a day that began with opening statements.
I'm going to ask that you provide the only verdict that justice will demand. And it's going to be guilty.
Hinds County Assistant DA Gwendolyn Ago telling jurors from Forest County the state will show the defendant planned to kill Jimmy J. Lee when Lee visited Harrington's apartment in July 2022.
Right before Jay gets to his apartment, when he's headed over, right before he gets there, just mere minutes, Timothy searches how long does it take to strangle someone.
Harrington's defense attorney quickly picking at the state's suggestion.
What you're going to hear is nothing about a threat, it's shape, form, or fashion from my client. And you're not going to hear that he searched anything about strangling anybody.
Kevin Horan stressing the state lacks proof of Harrington's involvement or guilt.
What they're expecting you to do is to allow them to throw something up against the wall, hope it sticks, if you decide, hey, must.
Lee's body is yet to be found, but Lee is presumed dead. Tuesday, jurors heard testimony from his tearful mother, recalling how excited her son was to attend the University of Mississippi.
His dream was to come here to Ole Miss to complete his education in social work and a minor in business.
Among those expected to testify during the trial are members of the Oxford Police, the University Police, the MBI, and the FBI. For your news leader in Oxford, Mike Suriani,
Niggas embarrassing. They come up to a great school and just start killing each other. Niggas is embarrassing, man. Salute to Kimberly Ashcraft. She says the best channel on YouTube. Salute to you, Kimberly. Hold it down for me for a second.
These niggas are pathetic. These worthless waste of life. Yo, we gotta start paying black people that not have kids. What y'all think about that?
I want that.
Well, you realize
Nick, you cannot stop the sun from rising, bro. The
That's
sun is gonna rise, dude.
if we say, yo, we'll give you some money if you sterilize yourself. We can slowly start to dwindle the sun population down.
Can you imagine the backlash from the Juice Crew and the sisters? Can you imagine it?
I actually can imagine that.
It would be incredible. It would literally. I don't know. I would argue it will possibly move mountains. You know, as it has in the past recently, actually.
We need to build more Planned Parenthoods in the hood. Just put them in wherever we could,
A, a
wherever
mobile
we see
plant,
a large black population that just put a Planned Parenthood. Put like three
a
Planned Parenthoods in a 1 mile radius.
Planned Parenthood Express, a mobile Planned Parenthood.
Make and just make it free. Just I mean, it already is. Like, isn't it already free to get like an abortion?
I don't even know.
I don't know, but
I'm pretty sure though. I would get charged. I was just talking about that with my girl, bro. How man, but we're not getting any financial help, bro. We're getting fucked over here. I was looking at one of my bills, dude. Our gas bill, and they were putting in like they're throwing in fees in there, to help like others. And I'm not against helping others, bro.
I'm
But
against helping certain people, bro. Them niggas
but
gotta die.
but there's people out here, man. They're suckers, man. I sometimes I feel like a sucker, bro. You know what I mean? Like worked hard. Like a sucker paid off my fucking all of my financial aid, my college loans, paid them all off, dude. Like a sucker.
Yep. You
You
know
know?
the people that put into the system. See, like this shit is different in like a glider country where like they have like a lot of social services because the people are paying into it and you can actually like justify certain taxes. But when it comes to niggas, it's like you can't really justify this shit.
How do
You
you
can't
say that?
justify all these programs and shit. You can't like
No.
the outcomes don't justify the means don't justify the ends.
You,
Right,
I,
right.
I do agree with you on that. It's like it's a town I'm very shocked at that I live around, and they talk about the homeless rate is alarming, but you wouldn't know because the gliders make sure they take care of them, and they don't boast about it. They don't brag about it. They do a good job hiding it.
Yeah, that's why I don't say, yo, we need to get rid of welfare. In a glider country, welfare could work. That shit
Yeah,
works.
Yeah.
Where the
yeah, because
gliders at, and it's all gliders, and it's woke as hell, and they got all these liberal ass policies and all these social safety
Yeah.
yeah,
nets. They're living over there like kings and
Where
queens, bro.
where you saw the prison in was it Switzerland or Norway where like it looked like a fucking spawn damn near. Like the inmates were like in there. It just didn't look like prison. They're able to do shit like that.
Yeah,
Cause it
they could pull it off. They could
right,
pull
right.
shit like that off.
Hey Nick, I wanted to ask you, do you think that one of the things that makes glider neighborhoods or glider areas safe is like the Karens?
Yeah, they police
Like
themselves. They do police
they
themselves.
they call the police and whatnot. But my only thing, and I heard you say that before, but my only thing about that got my attention was, bro, nobody, and I mean nobody, calls the police more than the sisters.
Yeah, yeah, that's also true. But
Like, like, like it doesn't even compare. I can't like it can't. I don't know. I don't know if I can't. I don't know the numbers, but there is no way that it's even comparable. That the Karens
but
but
call the
hold on,
they will.
but
But
not
the
the cut.
blackity blacks,
Yeah, good. Good.
the blackity blacks won't say that. They'll vote the Karens on call the police more.
no. But that's the point I'm making is Karens or not. That's not. That's almost irrelevant when it comes to the brothers. The brothers are like are it. You know what I mean? Like the reason. that glider neighborhoods are safer is not it don't got shit to do with the Karens. It's
No,
because there's no brothers there
well, yeah. I mean, I, as much as
or on burritos.
I don't think it's Of course, I think that's of course the main obvious factor, but
Yeah, yeah,
I think everything plays like its own little role in that. But
yeah, yeah,
I will say when I talked about that when he talked about the sisters calling the pigs,
yeah.
were they calling it for like usually domestic violence and shit like that? Is that
For whatever.
Very, very good point. So let me think.
They just be
So
calling it.
I think they call period. Yeah, I think they call like in for sure domestics. That's probably the number one reason, right?
yeah?
Um,
For sure.
but I think they also call overwhelmingly like to report like the guys selling dope. They I mean like the older you know what I mean? They do try, man. Like
Yeah,
they call for anything. They call for
if they're
anything.
doing that, look, I don't see that shit, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, they're doing
If
it.
they're really active like that, I don't see that
Yeah,
shit in like our
yeah.
neighborhoods growing up where cops are just always on patrol for these niggas on
Right.
corners and shit.
Right. Well, look, take my word for it, Joe. They doing it. The sisters are calling the cops for that
I
shit
mean,
all the time
I mean,
because
yeah,
because the opportunity obviously presents itself. It's there. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Like it's like throwing, hitting water from a boat. It's like
yeah.
so
No, but
obviously it's gonna be there.
yeah, but don't ever get confused, bro. The main problem is niggas themselves.
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah,
the other shit, you know, calling the cops and bro, I
yeah,
throw that all in the bucket with
yeah.
the culture shit. I'm not a culture. I'm a DNA nigga, bro.
Or like the fathers in the home. Yeah,
Yeah, I throw all
okay.
that shit in the same
Yeah,
nigga. To me, it's DNA over everything else, and then all the other little quote unquote social
throw in
economic
there.
factors and
Yeah.
shit.
It follows after that. Bro, doesn't that make life like just easier to navigate when you
Yeah, it's
like
just
it
when
is
I
what it is. Like I talked about that. We're having a conversation a minute ago now, but we're talking about how once you kind of accept the DNA argument, it just kind of like flow like shit flows
yeah,
quicker.
it
And
just to
just because
me,
you see you process shit like more like
uh,
you understand it more. You know what I mean?
when you just say, "Yo, these people are who they are," it just
Yeah, I mean,
once you when you start, bro, it's people I respect on YouTube, bro. They
yeah.
have like the most esoteric ass explanations for why niggas do the craziest shit
Right,
at
right.
such a high rate. And it's
Did
like,
you?
bro, if you could just not feel like you couldn't say, yo, what if these niggas just are like this?
Right,
If you
bro.
felt like you couldn't say that, I mean, if you felt
Right.
like you could say that, then I feel like you would have such an easier time,
Yeah,
you
with
know,
that.
being able
Well,
to think about this more clearly.
yeah, it would just be more like quicker to like process. But did you say people on YouTube, bro? Fuck them, bro. Fuck those
No,
people.
no, no,
What
no.
about
Hold on,
what
hold on.
about my mayor? Go look at the fucking stupid ass mayor of Chicago. Hear the nonsense
Yeah, he's
shit that
sick.
comes out of his fucking mouth about these motherfuckers that are fucking destroying this fucking city, dude.
The young
Including
scholars.
the fucking migrants, including the fucking old Beatles, right? But in particular, the sun words, bro. This man, bro, this man just had a press conference, right, bro, where he was talking about the Chicago Bears stadium, bro, right? Because he's for some reason pushing to build it, right? And he, for some reason, fixed his mouth to say, "I want to build a stadium, y'all," because think about the black man in college. What? What you somewhere? Those motherfuckers there ain't gonna build that fucking stadium, motherfucker. It's not gonna be them. If it's gonna be them, I don't want to put one foot in that bitch. It's gonna collapse. It's gonna be the Glider Kings and the Beaners, bro. That's what's gonna build that fucking and the Sunman too, Sunman too. But the way the mayor like looks at it in his fucking delusional world. Like if he were to just accept the fact that it's DNA and it's just is what it is, and motherfuckers are gonna just put some dudes are gonna put a gun in your face. They just are, bro.
You know who's starting to come around? Glenn Lowry.
Nah, Glenn Lowry been around. What you talking about?
Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, if you listen to Glenn Lowry,
He's starting to come around though. He's starting to get that woke shit out of him.
if you listen to Glenn Lowry, a lot of the times he doesn't even deny that DNA could play a part. And to me, I think he does think it plays a part, but he just, it's kind of against first world sensibilities to just be like, yo, these niggas just can't get right, bro. It just is what it is.
Who the fuck is that guy?
He like a professor, like a economics professor at Ivy League school.
Brown University.
Yeah, he's like an Ivy League academic.
And he's a DNA guy?
Now listen.
Not openly.
Listen to him from years back, man. He been. I'm talking about Ben.
I want a reorientation of our public policy, but that's not the only thing I want. That does not exhaust the discussion here. There's a stilted, distorted, stick-figured, simplistic reaction to these events that points a finger everywhere except inward, and it needs to stop. That's what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to agree with me. My guess is that many of you don't agree with me. Right now, I feel compelled as a Black intellectual to tell you what I'm saying. Refute me if you will, but silence me you will not. What manner of people are you who live like this? The question is unavoidable. It may be true that Black Americans are diminished and have survived against a horrible history. That's not, of course, the only truth. Blacks are a resourceful people, a people of ingenuity and creativity and courage and beauty and wonder. Foremost, Black Americans are quintessentially an American people, but the historical scar tissue so evidently manifest in the lives of these poor Black urban masses makes their circumstance special. Intellectuals have the responsibility to tell truths as they understand them, even unpalatable ones, or especially unpalatable ones. It does no good to say that criminals are a minority of all Black people. Of course that's true. It does no good to say that there are good and sufficient reasons for their troubling behavior. I can list those reasons all night long. It does no good to say that others who are not Black have also fallen short. Of course, that's true. These are truths, but voicing them changes nothing. There needs to be a communal as well as a national response to this crisis. I repeat, there needs to be mobilization on the ground on a national scale with as much resources, energy, and commitment and organizational skill as has been mustered to bring cops into the dock when they misbehave, organized around reacting to this behavior, insisting that it is not going to be acceptable in our community. This is not a cause and effect argument that I'm making here. I want to be very clear about that. I'm not saying if you do this, then anything will follow. I'm saying somebody needs to stand up and insist that this contemptible behavior is incompatible with any notion of Blackness that is worthy of being defended. Period.
What is he really asking for?
Give me that.
Of course, that's not enough. By itself, it's not enough. I'm not saying it's a solution to the larger problem. Of course, there needs to be social mobilization. Somebody is going to say, don't we need more healthcare? Somebody is going to say, shouldn't there be work for people who are looking for work? Somebody is going to tell me that the housing situation is inadequate. Somebody is going to point out that the schools are underfunded. I want the schools more adequately funded. I want the housing situation addressed. I want resources invested in this community. I'm talking trillions of dollars over a period of years invested in this community. I want a reorientation of our public policy, but that's not the only thing I want. That does not exhaust the discussion here. There is a stilted, distorted, stick-figured, simplistic reaction to these events that points a finger everywhere except inward, and it needs to stop. That's what I'm saying. I'm not asking you to agree with me. My guess is that many of you don't agree with me. Right now, I feel compelled as a Black intellectual to tell you what I'm saying. Refute me if you will, but silence me, you will not.
Go ahead, King.
I wish to conclude. Let me conclude on an even more personal note. I believe it is very important to bear in mind something that I know from firsthand experience, and that is that the incarcerated, the ghetto dwellers, this class to which I have been referring of people and their families, are not passive in their alienation. They're not without resources. They are not simply automata at the end of a puppeteer's string. Rather, they construct meaningful worlds for themselves amidst the storm. We, truck up to prison to visit a kid or a parent or a partner going through a rite of passage that soon enough becomes familiar. We, bail somebody out of the clink knowing that the money could be lost. To save our own hides, we may turn in loved ones to the cops. We, live with relatives who steal from them. We, are at one and the same time victims and perpetrators of criminal acts.
About that.
They know that this phony political dichotomy of us versus them, of the virtuous and the venal, is morally fraught, is a phony dichotomy, given the fact that any one of us falls, depending on the day or the hour of the day, to one side or the other of that divide of virtue and venality. A biographic life will have been lived on both sides of the line, but in retrospect, having staggered back and forth across that line many times over its course, one's imagined life can still be constructed as unified in its righteousness and justified in its condemnations. I know what I'm talking about here from personal experience. As it happens, I've passed through the courtroom and the jailhouse on my way to this distinguished podium. I've sat in the visitor's room at a state prison. I've known personally and intimately men and women who live their entire lives with one foot to either side of the law. In my mind's eye, I can envision voiceless and despairing people, perpetrators and victims alike, who would hope I might represent them on an occasion such as this. I know that these revelations may discredit me in some quarters. Some may assume that I'm siding with the thug and not with innocent victims of senseless violence. Truth be told, some would assume this about me no matter what I might say here, so deeply entrenched is this binary opposition in the American public mind. So I'm not even going to bother to try to refute the charge. Some time ago, I was honored to deliver the Tanner Lectures on Human Values at Stanford University. These lectures marked an important moment for me on the long and ongoing trajectory that has joined my lived experience to my scholarship and my politics.
Yeah, so he's deep in it, man. He might not be DNA, but he's on the path.
Yeah, he's on the path, because before that's an old speech. He's starting to come around because you know who else? Amy's coming at his show, and she's really exposing him. Like Amy knows his DNA. She knows.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
she listens to Ak.
Oh,
I mean, in this speech, he's talking about more resources and shit. You sound like the last 5 million niggas I heard talk about this shit.
But that's an old speech, because I think secretly he voted for Trump, and he was happy. And
no,
that
did.
other
He
dude,
did vote.
this dude,
John McWhorter. Now the other dude he be talking with John McWhorter.
Most niggas that vote for Trump.
And what is he?
Most niggas that vote for Trump don't believe in the DNA argument, though.
Yeah,
Dude, not even most conservatives do.
Yeah,
most
most
people, they don't
And I
even
feel
think
like-
that far ahead. Like they don't even consider
I
it.
feel like that's a low bar. I voted for Trump. That's such a low bar. Like that's
for a
like
black
gimme.
for a black man, that's a high bar.
I
Though.
was thinking about that. I was thinking about but for brother, I'll give you that, but that's still such a low, like that's a layup, chief.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I mean,
like children. We like children. We'll literally.
yeah, you gotta adjust the bar
The
for us,
curve,
bro.
the curve.
Yeah, you got greatest on the curve, bro.
I mean, no, we just think about things. We think about things like children do, And amongst each other, when we're amongst each other, like if you're a hood nigga or you black adjacent and all that shit, you don't know that you're thinking about things like a child. You don't know that.
Hey,
I'm
this
talking about
guy's
politics. I'm
Sam
talking about the
Harris.
large narrative of what is racial justice and what is equality. Development is the key. Performance is the key. Ability, mastery is the key. Preference, it's so 1970s. The world is fast moving and it's changing. The Chinese are coming. Nothing is standing still.
Chinese
Black
are
people
coming.
don't want to be in the position of being wards of pitying liberal establishment who think they are virtue signaling and standing on the right side of history by looking at the other way at our mediocrity. We want to be players, real players. We want to be like the Jews. If we
I
look
don't agree
into
with that.
the market for
We don't want to be like the Jews. No.
MGTOW, you agree with that? I think black people are very happy to just be pitied and all that shit.
Yeah.
They don't want to be players. Let's be real. They don't want to be players. They say they do.
This guy's Sam Harris. He thinks he knows their children.
No, black black people
sucks,
do not want to be black people do not want to be players. No, not at all. We're fine with just being where we at, being like kind of like not even a player, just being like a ball boy, but like having a big ass mouth, like a ball. Like if the ball boy, like they interviewed the ball boy at halftime of the game and shit, we won't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Or like the ball boy like was like could be eligible to get MVP and shit. We want to be like that type of ball boy.
eggs, human eggs that people are going to do in vitro fertilization and whatnot are purchasing. I don't know this for a fact, but I bet a lot that there's a premium driven by these kinds of, characteristics like how tall was the woman? Was she blonde or brunette? Was she white or black or Asian? Were her eyes blue or brown or whatever? I'll bet people actually pay a premium in that market for certain traits. And so an investigator might want to know whether
the brat, when her and her girlfriend had a baby, they used white sperm.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
A lot of black women, lesbian women use white sperm.
It's not unusual.
I know a white lesbian couple that use black sperm.
Stupid. KB, you gotta get some
employment or success in the business world, or number of people come out to your movie or whatever turns on that, and then they might end up wanting to collect that data.
Yeah, I think we're right to have an intuition.
I don't want to say. Let me move along, man.
I could see wanting to use black sperm if you want your kid to play in the NFL.
Yeah, I
or
was
the
just
NBA.
thinking that to be an athlete. Oh God.
Or if you want them to be like a comedian or something, like some kind of like motivational speaker, maybe a pastor, perhaps a Baptist,
or a felon.
Nice.
I mean, you could get lucky and you could be like a drug kingpin.
Look, man. I don't think America's ready for the DNA argument anytime soon.
No.
Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. This is a guy that white liberals worship for like a few years.
You kind of get disgraced. You kind of fall off.
That other dude, Ta-Nehisi Coates, and this guy, white liberals worship. I'm talking about worship these guys. These guys were the foremost authority on everything black.
Sold a lot of books
His
too.
writing has sparked debate and spurred
name.
dialogue on race and racism. Nancy Giles is in conversation with author and educator Ibram X. Kendi.
Remember when they say dialogue, they mean blaming white people.
spaces for Black people in North America.
We met Ibram X. Kendi
Spaces.
along
They-
Boston's Black Heritage Trail.
Abolitionists were gathering, and what kind of things were they discussing?
They were discussing what was unheard of in the 19th century, which was a nation without slavery, the
It was
immediate
not
emancipation
unheard of
all
at all.
enslaved people.
The African Meeting House is the oldest Black church in the country, built in 1806.
There were nations without slavery in the
abolitionists saying
1900s.
to the American people, you can't expect to end chattel slavery by doing nothing. The more you do nothing, the more slavery spreads and harms and tortures and kills. And in many ways, that's what's happening right now. If we don't actively seek to be anti-racist, then racism will persist.
In the sanctuary, positive things happen. Kendi is the founder of the Center for Anti-Racist Research at Boston University, where he's a history professor.
Why is it not enough to not be a racist as opposed to being an anti-racist?
Here we go.
I think it's
Here we go.
important for people to know the opposite of being racist is being anti-racist.
Kendi has argued for being
Excuse me?
anti-racist in a series of best-selling books.
What? No one is inherently
Why is
racist
this guy-
or
why do
anti-racist.
people listen
It's
to
about
this
what
guy?
we're doing. And so when we're expressing that the racial groups are equals, we're being anti-racist. When we're supporting a policy
that's just
that is
lying,
leading
sir.
to a
He's
racial
got like a
disparity,
90
we're being
IQ.
racist. You know, I'm encouraging people to constantly think about what are we doing or even not doing.
Bigots.
90.
Racists.
That's too high.
Like Ibrahim
I know, I'm being
Kendi.
His views have been polarizing, to say the least.
How to be an anti-racist.
His work was injected into the hearings for Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson,
Anti-Racist Baby by Ibram Kendi.
courtesy of Senator Ted Cruz.
One portion of the book says babies are taught to be racist or anti-racist. There is no neutrality.
It is dangerous
There is
to tell the truth today.
neutrality.
I would know. But as we've learned in the last few years, it is dangerous to not tell the truth.
For people who are like, oh, slavery was over 200 years ago. Why are we going back to that? Things are level now. It's a level playing field.
Well, first, if it was a level playing field, there would not be all these racial disparities from health.
See, this is
wealth,
why
education.
This is bullshit, dude.
Poor.
this is the racism of the gaps argument, and this is why I bang the DNA belt, because if you can just blame any disparity on racism, that's the shit that gives these niggas power, bro.
Basically, yeah. It's basically it. Because you got to understand, like, you, me, everyone here, we're basically being, like, gaslighted since the moment of birth to, like, accept that argument, right? That's why, like, when you accept the DNA argument, it's like you lose that psychological stress that you had. And
It's
then
freeing.
things become easy to explain. Like, why would we not use the most simplest explanations, just like we do in every other area of our lives? But here, for this fucker right here, we have to have some exception, and there's like this racism everywhere in the ether.
Yeah, that's like when I get on panels and niggas get mad when I talk about IQ, but they're so ready to blame racism on everything. I mean,
Because Ox said it right. They got it. The shit could be red. They got to say it's blue. They got to say it's blue.
but but on some level, like new guy just said, we've all been indoctrinated with it. When we don't get offered an alternative, we don't get offered it could be this or that, or it's a combination of both. No, we get offered it's racism, and that's it. And if you talk about DNA, then you just hate black people.
You're literally Hitler.
Yeah, that's why on some level it's kind of not their fault, but you know, at the end of the day, it's still some bullshit.
Well, you gotta think about it. Imagine if you were taught as a child that either explanations were totally socially acceptable to have, and you can freely think what you want to do. It's kind of like how like they censored conservatives off Twitter and stuff. And then when like Musk bought them and he just made it an even playing field, then all of a sudden everything changes, right? So like they can't like give you two alternative points of view, because I think most people would pick the DNA one. If it was just up to, you know, people's own intuition, I think the DNA one would win out very quickly.
It's just way less.
People who are like, oh, slavery was over
know.
200 years ago. Why are we going back to that? Things are level now. It's a level playing field.
Well, first, if it was a level playing field, there would not be all these racial disparities from health to wealth to education to incarceration. Or you think there is a level playing field, and the reason why certain racial groups are less wealthy or more likely to be poor or more likely to die or more likely to be incarcerated is because there's something inferior about them. I don't think that any racial group is inferior or superior. And so what that means is there isn't a level playing field.
He
And then
definitely
the question
thinks white
becomes,
people
why
are
isn't
inferior.
there a level playing field?
Yeah.
And you can't answer that question without talking about the present and the history of this country. And you can't talk about American history without talking about slavery.
Kendi has 2 new books coming out aimed at children and parents. One is a takeoff on the classic book
Yo, what the
Goodnight
fuck?
Moon.
This is dumb shit.
Good night, racism. Oh my god.
His 6-year-old daughter, Imani, recorded the audiobook with some coaching from Dad.
The moon delights
When every child falls asleep.
when every child falls asleep.
Y'all white people racist.
It's not a coincidence that racist ideas have spread across time and across humanity. The reason why they have is because they're simple. Dark is ugly. Light is
Hey,
good.
bro, you said that.
I agree with that.
More like dark doesn't build anything, and light has been building a lot since forever.
I mean, he got something right. I give him credit for that.
Light people are smart. These are very simple ideas that
he's
even a
just
2
coming
or
up
3
with
or
this shit,
4-year-old can understand.
He's a
And studies are
lightweight.
showing
He's
that
an
even
intellectual
preschool
lightweight.
children are choosing who to play with based on skin color.
The new books are being released as teaching about racism is under fire,
I see our schools going down a dark path.
with some states passing laws to take books out of schools that might make students uncomfortable.
I think that arming our children with information is protective.
Kendi is married to Dr. Sadiqa Kendi, a pediatric emergency room physician.
That applies when it comes to arming them with understanding our history, like a true account of our history, helping them to learn about racism and about anti-racism. And with Imani, her knowing this is what it is, this is the work that your father is doing. And unfortunately, because of that, there are people who don't like him and who don't like our family.
The book is garbage. Actually,
Daddy's a
worse. Not only is it embarrassing,
superhero.
it's stupid, it is poisonous.
When we're crossing the street
They're
with our
smart, though.
2-year-old, we teach them, look both ways, make
Stealing
sure
money.
there's not a car coming. Similarly, we have to teach them that there's these cars of racist ideas that are coming that could hit you.
What the fuck?
but yet he drives the cars. Like, I don't fuck. Yo, this is a headache, yo.
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna
Black
get hit
people,
by a
black
racist
people are
idea.
social terrorists. They are social terrorists, dude.
They never can
And
answer
what I
racism.
try to show in my work is that the true opposite of racist isn't not racist, it's anti-racist. And so if we understand a racist idea as any notion that suggests, let's say, a racial group is superior or inferior to another racial group, what's the opposite of racial hierarchy? It's a notion of racial equality, that the racial groups are equals. If a racist policy is any measure that is leading to or maintaining racial inequity or injustice between racial groups.
Wouldn't the opposite of a racial hierarchy be a racial lowarchy? I mean, I don't know, but
What's the opposite of that? A policy that's leading to equity, and justice. And if a person who is racist is constantly saying, I'm not racist, every single time they express a racist idea or support a racist
They're
policy,
still
what's the
racist.
opposite of that? The opposite of that is an anti-racist saying, you know what I
Dude,
actually just did
This guy
was racist.
single-handedly
But now I'm going to
destroyed the
change.
meaning
Now
of
I'm going
racist. Like, racist doesn't mean anything anymore because of this guy and his buddies.
Yo, I'm sorry, bro. White people, this a game y'all can't win, dog. Yo, niggas could do this shit forever, bro.
Look at her.
It's
Look
no,
at
it's no winning move in this game, bro. You're gonna be a racist either way.
Yo, look at her. She already wet. Like,
Yeah.
yo, this shit is crazy. Yo.
It's either you
Bro,
keep it
needs a
real
repair.
and get called a racist, or you lie to yourself and get called an anti-racist to prop these niggas up artificially, bro. So the choice is yours, man.
I feel like we need like some
Damn
Arabs
it,
to
I'm
start selling books that say like how to treat sons, you know, the way they should be treated. Like we need like a genuine savior to just be like, all right, look, like you gotta switch it up. You gotta,
Yeah, y'all gotta get the Arab handbook. Y'all gotta call
Yeah.
some Arabs up and be like, yo, we need that ancient knowledge on how y'all, you know, had your foot on these niggas' necks back in the day. They'll tell you how to deal with these niggas. You seen how the Arab put the fruits and vegetables on the floor, put the Hennessy and hot Cheetos right at eye level as soon as you get to the counter. They know how to deal with niggas. Don't apologize for shit. Keep your foot on their neck.
Yeah, never apologize. That's a thing that is practiced all over the world besides by gliders. You know, like in Japan, like they still don't even like really acknowledge like, you know, like the rape of Nanking, for example, stuff like that. Like that's just normal in those cultures to just, you know, basically never apologize.
Yeah, don't fucking try to prove how moral. Look, I know gliders. They have like this intrinsic shit where they, you know, it's the morality shit. And I'm not, I think people should be moral, but if people are going to use that against you, man, fuck that shit, bro.
Yeah, like among gliders, among glider and glider civilization, apologizing kind of works because there's just like an appreciation for it, and it's like a fair game being played. But if you apologize to sons or any other group of people, you're never going to receive it in any like meaningful way. So it's just going to be used against you. There's no reason to do it.
Salute to Conrad. He says, at New Guy, thoughts on BFM versus Angels. Wild out here. Who's BFM?
BFM, what the hell is that?
Oh, that's a biker gang? BFM is a biker gang, and the Angels are the Hells Angels?
Is this not WNBA? That's what I thought
Yeah.
it was. What are the
Yeah,
Angels?
I thought you were talking about Angel Reese.
He's talking about like the biker gang, like biker gangs are beefing.
No, I don't know. I don't know who those gangs are. Are they in Ontario?
I guess. Yeah, they do have Hell's Angels in Canada.
Yeah, we have Hell's Angels, but I don't know who BFM is.
Blacks from Mars.
I don't know if they.
Nah, I don't think so, buddy.
Black Fudge Mafia. I don't know.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fitting.
I don't know. You know, don't let the fudge word do too much heavy lifting. Sparkle.
Is that in Quebec or Ontario? That's what I'm wondering. What is because I've never heard of BFM. That sounds like a Quebec thing.
Black. All right, hold on. I got it. Black fags matter, bro. I got it. Black fags matter.
Dang.
Because they have sons, like they have a lot of Caribbean sons, like fucking sons from Haiti, like in Quebec, right? So they're, I'm sure, you know, creating all sorts of mayhem there in those population centers.
I disagree on that. I disagree on that part. The Haitian sons over there is not that. They're not like that. I know that. I've been there, got family there. I've been around there. They're not like that. They're very civilized. I'm just telling you the Haitian ones.
There's black people somewhere that act civilized. I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I'm with Nigtow on that.
More civilized than you think. Put like that.
All
More civilized than you think. Because
I can get with that.
From Laval to Montreal, I know that. Like No.
I'm
It's been a
buying,
while.
I'm buying that. I'm buying that.
It's been a while since we checked in on Haiti, man.
Yeah, Ock types in Haiti, and like every
Yo.
single thumbnail is just fucking
And there
like.
are
Yo,
reports
is
that the UN has
Haiti
evacuated
still
a small
having
number of
like
staff
that?
in Haiti as gang
That
violence
war?
escalates in Port-au-Prince, the capital.
Are they still
More than
like
40,000
barbecue
people have been
still at
displaced
large?
from the area in the last 10 days. That's according to UN data. So I want to bring in Haiti Caribbean correspondent for the Miami Herald, Jacqueline Charles, to talk more about all of this. Jacqueline, always great to have you when we're talking about what is happening in Haiti. So what can you tell us about the latest developments there?
Well, what we are seeing, as you mentioned in your intro, is that the UN and other aid agencies are relocating staff. In some cases, they're moving to the north to Cap-Haïtien, which is the second largest city, which basically has a small international airport, which right now offers the only air bridge in and out of Haiti. And in other cases, they are leaving. They're relocating to other places. The U.S. Embassy, for instance, did an evacuation flight for diplomats. It's the 5th time since 2019 that the U.S. has evacuated its staff at its embassy. We have no idea how many people are currently left, and they are quietly evacuating American citizens in need. But most people have to rely on private helicopters, which are also limited. The options are very limited right now to get out of the country, as we're seeing an escalation in gang violence. IOM says 40,000 people have been displaced in just 10 days. Because of this new round of violence.
So there are probably some people, Jacqueline, here in the United States who were perhaps hopeful when it was announced that a peacekeeping force of mostly Kenyan soldiers were going to travel to Haiti to try and bring about something.
Kenyan soldiers are gonna fix.
Yeah, peacekeeping Kenyans. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's like lighting a match at a gas station. It's not the move.
When I want some people to keep the peace, you know what group of people I'm thinking about? Kenyans. Yeah.
What about Ethiopia?
Some level of peace and security for the people there, but that has been anything but. So what can you tell us now about what the United States is trying to accomplish with the UN peacekeeping force?
Yeah, that force is just 416 individuals when it should be 20.
Wait, did I cut out?
Yeah, I thought that was.
Nah, Ak, you okay?
We're here. We're here.
Ak first.
Yeah, I thought my signal went out.
I was tripping.
I was about to shut this shit down and everything. Yeah, that's Ak, bro.
She was about to say they gave us 400. We need like 40,000.
Yo, who's smashing this? Who's smashing?
I'm not smashing that, man. I'm good. There's way prettier Haitian girls in this. Remember the girl from Jamie Foxx?
What'd you say?
The girl from Jamie Foxx show. Remember the girl Jamie Foxx show?
She was bad as fuck.
She was Haitian, yeah.
Jesus.
When she was younger.
That was a bad bitch, bro.
Yeah, when she was young. Yeah. And she came from money too, so it wasn't easy.
Yo, new guy, are you like where are you on the religious tip? Well, where are you with it?
Like I'm probably like an atheist with, if you're white and you live in North America, you still have cultural Christian values, basically,
right.
Even if you're an atheist. But no, man, come on. This whole Christian thing, it just seems to be it's not really working for gliders. All it seems to do is fucking import Haitians and people from all over these shithole countries into ours. We have these evangelicals on the whole Zionist.
That's all the Jewish group.
Yeah,
they're responsible for this.
It's not working too well. Gliders need to have their just own indigenous religions. There needs to be a genuine revival of where they think about it.
You're talking about paganism.
Religion is their own religion. It's like their own ethnocentric thing, whereas Christianity and Islam is not, right? So if you black people say this too all the time, and this is of all the stupid shit black people say, sometimes they make sense. And one of the things they say, Umar Johnson, what does he say? It doesn't make sense for black people to worship white Jesus. And I think he's right about that. I think that makes sense. It doesn't make sense to worship like a non-indigenous religion.
So you think that? All right.
It's a very strange take, but I respect it.
So wait, real quick. So let me ask you this, new guy. If a guy, immigrant guy, comes in to your country, did it the right way, did everything the right way, he's not a criminal, nothing, got skills and everything, you'll still be against it.
Unless he's white, because then there's always a
But what if he's not white? What if he's not white? Like I said, he went through the whole protocol, everything.
Yeah. I'd probably say this, he would have to let's take Elon Musk, for example. Let's pretend he's like Indian or something. Yeah, I think we'd probably make an exception for such a highly valuable individual. But that's a lot different than importing 500,000 Indians into your country every single year to work at 7-Eleven or whatever. They're just completely different.
We're going to take a closer look now at gang warfare in Haiti, which has rocked the struggling nation for years, displacing over 700,000 Haitians. The United Nations Security Council met today to discuss the violence and whether to upgrade a police mission deployed earlier this year to a peacekeeping operation, as the chaos and street warfare has reached a new and terrible level. Despite that multinational security mission that deployed in June to try and restore some order, large parts of the capital remain under gang control, and violence is endemic. Special correspondent Marcia Biggs and videographer Eric O'Connor recently traveled to Haiti and have this look at the depth of the crisis.
Downtown Port-au-Prince, deserted after years of gang warfare. 85% of the city is held by various armed groups, constantly battling for control. They terrorize contested neighborhoods with a scorched earth practice of kidnapping, rape, and murder. No one in the city remains untouched.
I had no choice but to join them. In order to stay alive, to save the life of my child, and also avenge my mother and father.
This 41-year-old widowed mother asked us to protect her identity. She says in 2020, she was living on a front line between two gang territories when bandits attacked her home and murdered her father, her mother, and her husband in front of her. She fled with her teenage son, and members of the Grand Ravine gang gave her a choice.
They asked those who want to stand and fight to fight. I chose to join with my child.
How do you survive?
When a vehicle with goods is passing by, we hijack it, or we kidnap you. We demand a ransom. You pay us, and we release you. But if you refuse, I have to kill you to take what you have.
I can't break the streets.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Many times.
And how does that feel?
Have you ever killed anyone? She said many times. How does that feel?
You forced me to kill you. I asked you for something, and you didn't give it to me. I've gotten used to it. It's nothing for me now.
What was it like the first time?
Well, I couldn't sleep for 3 to 4 weeks. But now that I've gotten used to it, it's like a game for me to kill you.
It's been nearly 5 months since a Kenyan-led UN multinational security support mission arrived to reestablish security in Haiti. It's a force meant to be made up of 20.
Look at this rag. He's back ragamuffin motherfucking
embarrassing.
Ragtag, bad news bears, soldiers.
500 security officers from various countries. But the mission is critically underfinanced, and so far only around 400 have been deployed. Still, Force Commander Godfrey Otunge maintains that they have made huge strides with the little that they have.
We pacified the airport. Outside the airport, there's this road. When we came here, people were not using it. As it is currently, it's full of traffic. We've gone to downtown.
But downtown is a no-go zone.
It is a no-go zone to the people that didn't see the way it was before we came.
We went out on patrol with Kenyan forces to check out some of those no-go zones, areas still under gang control.
We pacified this road, especially this road that runs from this junction to the U.S. Embassy.
it was not possible because of the threats of the gangs. Now we need to pacify and now dominate those areas.
We pass the U.S. Embassy, whose staff can only come and go with armored cars, and where the U.S. ambassador admits to having limited contact with gangs to ensure their security. Gang members try to slow the patrol with roadblocks and burning tires, but Kenyan forces remain resolute in their mission.
What do you say to those who are holding back the resources, who are dragging their feet about getting you what you need?
This is the time for action. Because whatever voluntary contribution they put into the trust fund is what propels this. All those in terms of air support, maritime capability, personnel, the equipment that we requested, it will be fireworks because I know where I want to.
But yeah, my man, all that's coming from white nations. That money is not, the money is not just coming from nowhere. Those tanks and those airplanes is not just coming from nowhere. Salute to John Hancock, man. Shout out to Oakview becoming a member. Gifting another membership. Shout out to Kimberly Ashcraft. Says Kendi changed his name when he married Dr. Sadiqa Kendi. Given name is Henry Rogers. Cuck, grifter, fraud. Oh, he took his wife's last name. Yikes.
To go. I know where I started, I know where I am, and I know where I want to go.
One place the mission still hasn't gone is Cité Soleil, where gangs were born decades ago. We were able to access it with the nonprofit organization Way to Health, which provides medical care and food to children there with the tacit permission of the GPEP gang.
We're in a tap-tap, which is basically a pickup truck that's covered. It's a lot safer for us to be in a tap-tap than to be in our own car because members of the GPEP gang know this tap-tap.
We crossed the front line between the G9 and GPEP gangs, nicknamed the Death Crossroads. Last year, G9 blocked all other roads to the GPEP territory and raped or murdered anyone who tried to get out. Once in GPEP territory, we switched to motorcycles because a river of sewage and garbage makes the road impassable.
Yeah, remember we had that video where they was making mud cookies out there on a sewer and shit. Yo,
there's so much trash you can't even travel across this shit.
Savages. You would think that, like, one thing about white armies, and anybody who's been in the military knows this, the majority of the time they're building shit. Those armies are building dams, they're building bridges. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of that is, the fighting is a small part of what they do. You know what I'm saying? Especially American armies and Roman armies. You know, when you have big powers like that, they're not always fighting. They're always building something. They're always, digging a trench or making a canal or doing something that they have to do. These black gangs right here, which are basically armies, this shit will look like this in 100 years. That sewage and shit, they'll never pave this road and never make it passable.
You see this shit, man? Just,
you gotta switch the bikes. You can't even drive, and they're fine. They just switch to the bike because that's how the black mind works.
Yeah, I thought that was dirt on the side. I thought that was dirt on the side near the water. Bro, that's trash, bro.
We think about in the moment. So instead of thinking like, okay, so let me solve this problem, this road being all fucked up in this part, so where we can't drive the cars over it is a problem. Let's solve the problem. Nah, niggas just find the easy way out and keep doing the easy way out every single time.
Yep. Instead of picking shit up, cleaning it, just gonna figure out some way to get around it so we don't have to face the actual problem.
For cars, a physical reminder to all how forgotten this neighborhood is. We arrive at Way to Health's makeshift clinic for sick, malnourished children and their mothers, victims of poverty and non-existent health care.
Bro,
This
they're not
baby
victims.
likely has typhoid. Her mother was killed, so she's being cared for by her aunt, who says she does the best she can.
Sometimes when the baby cries, I don't have enough money to feed her, so I beg in the street. We sleep in the public square.
The people here are really struggling. They say they have no services, no electricity, no water, no schools, no hospitals. This area has been attacked many, many times. Everyone here has been a victim.
At every turn are footprints of homes burned down, now marked by string. Bullet holes puncture all remaining facades. Remnants of horrific battles that took place between G9 and GPEP.
I lost 2 brothers during the war. We found the body of one of them. The other one was burned. People had no choice but to try to escape in the ocean. But many
Yo,
people
all right.
died because they didn't know how to swim. Many children.
I don't want to be that guy, man. But where are the attractive Haitian women at, bro?
I don't know. I ain't seen one yet. It's kind of reminded me of a certain city on the East Coast. I can't quite think of it.
During one of those attacks, 7 men stormed into Pierre-Aline Jules' home. She was raped along with her mother and her niece.
Think about raped alongside your mother. You're in a room. These people in the room. 7 dudes storm in front of all y'all. Your mother's getting raped over here. She's screaming. You're right here, and this getting raped, and your niece is over there getting raped, and you're all getting raped by a bunch of fucking goddamn proto-humans and shit.
Yeah, a
And
bunch
y'all
of
just- and then they just leave and shit and keep it pushing.
I mean,
So like you can't call nobody. You can't call, hey, white man, these dudes raped me. There's nobody to call.
yep, they could come back tomorrow and do the same shit if they wanted to.
Exactly. And this is what they do. Like these like you saw them walking down the street with their guns. Anybody they encounter, they just rape and kill.
Dang. Sounds like hell on earth.
They had balaclavas. They were hooded. I could only see their eyes. I was really sad. I was crying a lot. But thank God they didn't kill me.
You gotta be down
She showed
bad
up
to
at
rape
the Weta
that.
Health Clinic last year. She was a shell of herself.
I kept this as a secret with my family. And
Bro,
I'm
does she have a
telling
wig
you,
on?
I didn't tell anyone else what happened to me.
But maybe the same thing has happened to your friends.
Yes, some friends of mine were also raped. I don't talk about my problems to my friends. I'm a woman with a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
Nearby, children play where the river of sewage empties
Oh
into the
my
ocean.
god.
Most of the
Yo.
homes burned down have never been rebuilt. Those
You don't care
families now
about the
sleep
kids
in
if you let them play in that shit, bro.
over 7.
They go fine joke. They go bad joke.
Those
Bad
families
Haitian
now.
joke.
Yo, this bitch look like this bitch like Alden Smith off the 49ers, bro.
Look at this though. Look at where she live. Look at where she live. Look at that.
Why is
Yo,
this trash just piled up everywhere, dog? God damn.
because trash collection is a white man. Like I watched a video about landfills the other day because it's a landfill near where I live at, right? You know, and it's like the science of landfills. Gliders are amazing, man. They take the trash and all the trash they take it somewhere else
Yep.
away from the population.
Oh,
It's just
Yep.
amazing, man.
yo, gliders are underrated, man. As great as they are, they're actually underrated, bro. But yo, look
Yeah.
look at her face, bro. You don't think that's a
Not-
dude?
Nah, that ain't no dude. That's a woman, man. She's a woman.
Cool. Yo, that's a manly ass. Yo, niggas got it bad, bro. I'm sorry, dog. You got it bad, bro. All right, go ahead.
Look
Bro.
at this though. Look at that, man. That's think about the flies and rodents. Like think of mice and just birds and all types of vermin that attracts, man.
Now sleep in the street. Over 700,000 people in Haiti are now homeless because of gang violence. Without any formal camps set up to house those displaced, many of them have begun taking shelter in schools across Port-au-Prince. They are desperate for food. With no running water or soap, disease and pests run rampant.
No running water or so, like nobody digs a well. No men go out. All right, we're gonna go dig a well today. No men, like it's just shiftless. Niggas is shiftless.
Yo, wherever you go, niggas are shiftless. Remember that nigga in that African village?
Yeah.
That nigga had that nigga had his bitch pop fucking going out in the fields gathering food up while he was just chilling back in the village.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't even know what them niggas do. Fucking praying to a tree or some shit.
Children are eaten alive by bed.
Children are eaten alive by bed bugs.
And pests run rampant. The children are eaten alive by bed bugs at night. Most of the women we talked to had been raped. Some are now pregnant.
Bro.
Lucrecia Athos lost her husband when gangs attacked her home last year. She and her 4 children now sleep in this former classroom with 46 other people every night.
I am crying because I can't live in this misery. I don't have milk for my little one. One can of milk. I used to be able to find a can of milk. Now the children are suffering. Sometimes I can't even feed them.
A couple of months ago, she went back to check on her home, only to find it still occupied by bandits. They raped and beat her for 6 hours
God damn.
before letting her go.
Yo,
Does
these
it
some
bother you?
rapey ass niggas in Haiti, bro. God, they just raping everything in sight.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is everywhere. The Congo, anywhere where there's black conflicts, they just rape is like off the chart. She went to check on her home, and them niggas was in there and they raped like that. Think about how fucked up that is, man.
Yeah, man.
She
Fine, wash up.
I should have just fucking left that shit. Let that shit be, dog.
Bro.
Check the back chat.
Letting her go.
The marks in the
Does
back
it
chat.
bother you that members of your gang may be raping women?
No, because the other gangs came to our territory and did it to us. They take a 7-8-year-old child and rape her. It will never bother.
Yo.
Dog, these niggas, man.
It's sickness, man. It's not. This is not our finest hour. I know.
Bro, literal proto humans, bro.
Yeah, we're not. I'm just. Thank you, mother. Thank you.
Their
Mother.
whole life is just raping and robbing. And
that's why
and
my mom
eating.
got out of there. That's why my
They
mom
like
got
it
out
like
of there.
this.
Yeah, my mom didn't. She's like, yeah, I'm good.
Bro, this is archaic, prehistoric human behavior. You're just running around raping.
They
being
fuck
a
anything
savage.
that walks. Yeah, they fuck anything that walks, man. If they got a pussy, it's a wrap.
That doesn't even sound like a human in 2024, bro. I couldn't even imagine just a nigga just going around just raping everything that on sight.
Yeah, have dry dick, man.
We got incels and shit over here. They don't believe in that. They're like, nigga, we gotta get some shit cracking.
Hey, raping little girls, man. I mean, think about how evil these dudes are, man, to gang rape a little 7-year-old girl.
They
I mean,
probably-
think how evil you gotta be. Like, say you 5th in line, right? Think about how evil you gotta be to sit there and wait your turn and shit.
Yeah.
And then do that shit. Think about how evil and wicked you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Raping women?
No, because the other gangs came to our territory and did it to us. They take a 7-8-year-old child and rape her. It will never bother me. You made me cry, I'll make you cry too.
Wait, what?
What could the state do to
So
end
basically,
the violence?
if they do it, they do
The
it.
state should start with their high-ranking officials
I
first,
feel rape
because
for a
they're
rape.
the ones who set it up. We don't take the streets of our own free will. Where do we get the weapons? How can I buy a Kalashnikov? How do I buy an M16?
How do I
No,
buy a
they must
condom?
start with themselves first before that could.
Shit. Salute to Tiffany Esco. She said Puerto Rico will look like Haiti soon. Overflowing landfills and trash. Tony Hinchcliffe's joke was more a call for help. He cares about fixing it. Yeah, I mean, we covered that, the landfills in Puerto Rico. And but I don't think Puerto Rico can ever be like Haiti because they got too many white people there. A lot of Puerto Ricans are white. A lot of Puerto Ricans are mixed race. A lot of Puerto Ricans are, mixed with white and Taino or white and black. They're not like these niggas. You haven't seen a light-skinned motherfucker in this whole goddamn piece. This whole
Well, yeah,
goddamn-
yeah, because Papa Doc, before he passed, obviously, Papa Doc exterminated all the mulatto Haitians. That's why.
change.
Wow.
As long as they bring us weapons,
Yeah,
we will
you
take
need the
them.
mulattoes, man.
What do you see?
You think about Black history in America without mulattoes, man.
Yeah, he was on that Pan African shit. That's why, and then he started killing all the light skinned Haitians.
Yeah, man. Think about, bro. We don't have our first black president without a white person being there, bro.
The only ones that survived was the Arabic Haitians. That was the only ones that survived because they basically run the stores.
So he killed the mulattoes, but kept the Arabs. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I guess because they're a little dark. That's why.
They needed someone to actually,
run the business.
Yeah, run business.
That shit crazy, man. Any final words, man? Any final thoughts, man?
Yo, I just wanted to say, remember when I forget what that guy's name that he was on the panel. I was on the panel with him before, but I saw a video of him talking about Haiti when they were talking about how you couldn't cross like a certain bridge or some shit because like Haitian gangs would just kill you. And he was basically saying it's the white man's fault because he's the white man stopping Haitians from building their own economies because they're giving away rice and they're like stopping the farmers from being able to, I guess build their rice businesses up or whatever the fuck he said.
Nah. The only thing I would debunk on that, again, Clinton was trying to help out, and he should have just let that shit alone.
Nah, he was trafficking kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Whatever he was doing, he should have just never intervened. And he basically took the lands and kind of stopped the farmers over there. He did do that, and it fucked them up. I would agree on that.
Salute to Deluxe 247, aka Cal Ripken, aka the real MVP, coming through once again. Same black time. Same black time.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, great show again. I salute to everyone that participated in the chat in the panel. Thanks for having me. I always appreciate it. You don't have to do this, but you already know, man. I hope Satan has a special sex dungeon in hell for these ends, so he can run a Diddy style baby oil orgy on these niggas, unconsensual baby oil orgy on these niggas once they reach their final destination. Salute. Have a great one, yo.
Word.
Same black time, same black channel. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Salute, yo.